On the Block with Jen. I'm YouTube's bad girl and your favorite devil's advocate, Jen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're here for the first time, hi. Nice to meet you. To my regulars, what's up, mi gente? Buckle up, okay? Tonight's topic is spicy, but I'm going to make it fun. Let's take care of a little business. You guys already know I am available on all social media platforms, specifically TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Okay. If you want to have the most fun, go to my Instagram, On the Block with Jen on Instagram, because I'm really still working the Facebook and the TikTok. I'm throwing a lot of stuff on there, but I'm well established On the Block with Jen on Instagram. Okay. Also, if you want to collab with me, an interview, or you want to come up on the panel, you have a topic you'd like me to dissect, or you have an idea for me, this is the suggestion box. On the Block with Jen at Gmail. On the Block with Jen at Gmail. Okay. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. I'm trying to remember everything. On the Block with Jen at Gmail. Okay. Throw your suggestions in there, your topics, collaborations, interviews, whatever, what have you. That's where I check out what you guys have to say. That's where you could throw the feedback in there. Throw the feedback in there. I will take a look at it. Now, as far as topics, a lot of people who send me topics doesn't mean I'm going to pick your topic. It means that I'm going to pick the ones I think are best, for me to discuss, and that my audience will enjoy, and that my chat and my panelists, will enjoy and have a lot to add to the topic. So don't think you're going to throw something in there and then come back and be like, well, she ain't used my topic yet. I sent it a month ago. It's because I probably saw it or didn't see it. So if you want to be seen in that inbox, that Gmail inbox, make sure write in all capital letters, put little stars on the subject. I'm just telling you that because it'll catch my eye, and I will more than likely open up your inbox. I do appreciate every single suggestion and topic that gets thrown in there. It's just sometimes, although I appreciate you immensely, I don't have time to grab all of them out, or some of them, the time has already passed, so it's not trending anymore. But you get my drift, right? Just throw it in there. Suggestions, questions, comments, collaborations, interviews, blah, 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 on the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to support this show and help Mama keep the church lights on, because yes, we do have church up in here. It is floating on the bottom. Cash App is also on the Block with Jen. So it's $ on the Block with Jen. It's floating right there on the bottom. Feel free to buy me a smoothie. And yes, I do really buy smoothies with my gifts. All right, guys. Also, if you don't want to do the Cash App, I just say that for people that are catching the replay, because the Super Chat is not on during the replay, but the Cash App is open 24 hours a day. So I may be asleep, and I will get your notification of support that I'm truly grateful for. Okay, I appreciate all of you. If you rather do the Super Chat, there's a little $ on the bottom of the chat right there. Where you guys go in and argue and curse each other out and say all kinds of crazy shit and talk in capital letters. Right there, there's a $ on the bottom right. You'd be surprised how many people do not know what a Super Chat is, but it's okay. We're all learning as we go. I hope you guys caught my stream last night. It was about child support. I would suggest, if you know any man in your life that's paying child support, if you are a man paying child support, if you know a woman that's paying child support, I suggest you watch my stream from last night. Okay. Very, very informative. I had a guest up here talking about how he beat paying child support, and he no longer had to pay child support because child support, there's no such thing. It's actually criminal. It's almost illegal the way they do child support. I can't explain it, okay? You have to watch the stream last night. I felt like I was in a law class, but the way he broke down how you're not supposed to be paying child support is insane. Not to be confused with, you should be taking care of your children financially. Do you understand that? You should absolutely be taking care of your children financially, whether you're the custodial or non-custodial parent. I'm talking about specifically child support and the way that it's done and mandated and all of that. That is not how it's supposed to be. So if you're curious about that, check out yesterday's stream. He broke it down to the letter. He gave resources. He gave books. He talked about his entire journey getting off of child support. And he got off of child support. He takes full care of his children, by the way, but child support is a whole other matter. It's very, very interesting, very informative, and there's also resources. So it wasn't just talking heads, people saying child support is unfair. He actually breaks it down how it's damn near a criminal act. Very, very, very interesting. And also his story is successful, okay? He got his child support case dismissed. Very, very interesting. So if you guys want to check that out, that's yesterday's stream. See? We don't always talk about BS up in here. Every now and then we get some information that'll help our quality of life. Okay? Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. So tonight we are talking about Gabrielle Union statements, right? Gabrielle Union very recently was on a podcast talking about her first marriage. Was it her first marriage? I believe it's her first marriage to Chris Howard. She stated, and I quote, she felt entitled to cheat because she was taking care of all the bills. Yeah. So she said that in her first marriage to this man, Chris Howard, who is also an athlete, I believe, she basically said that, they didn't let a marriage get in the way of their dating. Okay. She said it was a very dysfunctional marriage. And also, she felt entitled to cheat because she was paying all the bills. She was paying all the bills. So tonight we're going to ask the question because there's so many opinions on this, right? Does a breadwinner get a pass to cheat? Now, I've heard a lot of guys say that if a woman wants a man who is high value and makes a lot of money, she has to understand that he is going to have other women, that she's not going to be the only one. So are we going to accept what Gabrielle Union said, or is she supposed to be a doting wife anyway because she is the female in the relationship? I know we want things to be a certain way. I hear a lot about how things should be after you take vows, how things are supposed to be, how love is supposed to look and act and behave, right? We have all these hopeful and whimsy things for two human beings that get together in marriage, don't we? We say the husband has to do this, the wife has to do that, the wife has to do this, the husband, it is their duty. They took the vows. That is what love means, right? There's this thing that we want humans to be, but seldom are they. Humans are seldom what we say they're supposed to be, or what we expect them to be, or what they even themselves vowed to be, right? We always know it's love, but if he loves her, he wouldn't. If she loves him, he wouldn't. But if they took vows, they're supposed to. But God said, and that means that there's so many things put on human beings that we're supposed to do and supposed to be, right? We're hopeful about it. Ooh, this person's never going to betray me. Ooh, this person's never going to cheat on me. Ooh, this person's going to do everything right. Ooh, this person's never going to steal from me. Why? Why aren't they? Well, because they're religious. Well, why? Why wouldn't they? Well, because they're my sister. Why? Because, but that's my mother. Why? Why wouldn't they betray you? Because we took vows together. Well, why? Why wouldn't he cheat on his wife? Because he loves her. When you love somebody, you're not supposed to cheat, right? We put all these things on human beings, and we never just look at just a human being, right? We ignore the natural, the nature, okay? The predisposition of humanity, right? What humans 9 times out of 10 are going to do anyway, despite the social construct of marriage and vows and religion. Before you throw all of that on a human, before you raise a human in that, they're human first. They have desires and wants and needs and lusts and all kinds of things going on. And then society gets them, or their parents get them and tell them, hey, you're supposed to be this. Why? Because we said. You're supposed to do that. Why? Because we said. Well, love is supposed to be. Why? Well, because that's what love means. Who said? Well, the people that made up the love thing said it. Okay. But I want to be with another man. Yeah, but you vowed to this man. Oh, wow. Well, that's weird because though I vowed to that man, I still want to be with another man. Same thing with men. I keep telling you guys. How could you cheat on her? You're supposed to love your wife. Hey, I love my wife. I would never leave her, but I like my secretary too, right? So we're constantly putting these things on human beings of what they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do and what love is supposed to look like and what vows are supposed to look like and what marriage is supposed to look like. Ignoring, we always ignore, oh, that's just a human being doing human shit. Right? Religion has nothing to do with it. Love has nothing to do with it. People are still saying love conquers all, which is the most stupid statement that I've ever heard, right? Because love is a made up thing, right? Love is a made up thing. And if we look at it scientifically, some scientists will tell you that the same chemical released in your brain during love is the same chemical released in your brain during eating a piece of chocolate, right? Love chocolate, right? So Gabrielle Union stated, as the breadwinner of the family, I took care of all the bills. I was making more money than my husband. I was entitled to cheat. She said that's what her father told her. The person in the relationship that's making the most money has the most freedom. And I know you guys can agree because I've heard you parrot that over and over and over again. If a woman wants a high value man or a wealthy man, she has to understand that he's going to cheat, right? I've also heard you're only as faithful as your options. Come on, guys. You say it all the fucking time. All the time. So Gabrielle Union, being a woman in that marriage, that first marriage, right? Who was making all the money and who had all the options because she's an actress, right? On red carpets around other celebrities and actors that are hot, who are making the same money that she does. Is she wrong? Was Gabrielle Union wrong? Because she took vows. You know, vows are supposed to mean love is supposed to do. I dropped the link, you guys. You guys can come up whenever you're ready. Okay. So can we get mad at Gabrielle Union? Or is it, you know, she's a woman, so she's still supposed to be a certain type of thing, a certain type of wife? Now, I agree with some of you guys. Yeah, I agree with some of the men. But you have to make sure that you understand that when a woman is in that same position, she does have the entitlement and the right of the men that you're talking about are only as faithful as their options. That is just how it works. That is just how power works. What's up, Trinity? That's just how it works. Are we going to keep denying that humans are going to human? Right? And it sounds beautiful. We are the thinking animal with the whimsy. We love the long white dress, right? With the lace and the bouquet and the bridesmaids and the grooms and the best man crying as his wife is coming down the oh good. We're seeing a lot of that on Instagram, are we not? The groom is standing there, tears. He got the Viola Davis snots going. His best man patting him on the shoulder. Here comes the bride. Ain't it beautiful? In 2-3 years, he's going to be sick of that bitch. You know that. I know that. In 2-3 years, the Instagram model will slide into his DMs, or he'll be clicking heart till she responds. You know that. That is usually the outcome. The snots were great the day of, and I'm not even saying that he wasn't feeling that day. Okay, my bride is coming. I'm not even saying that he wasn't feeling that on that day. But is it long lasting? And going back to what I agree with you guys on, I do agree that the person in control, which is usually the person with all the money in the relationship or the most money or the one paying all the bills, they do have an entitlement. And that's whether we like it or not. That's whether it turns our stomach or not. That's whether it makes us feel sad or not. That's whether it makes us feel disenchanted about marriage and coupling or not. I told you guys, marriage forever is possible with two people that are not going to cheat. It's possible, but it's rare. It is a needle in a haystack. The majority of human beings, especially in the current times, are not built for monogamy. And even the ones that are fall short because of the way social media is set up. Our society is set up for cheaters, not for people who love each other and want to keep vows. Did you hear what I said? The society you live in, specifically in this country, right, caters to the cheater, not to the loyal person. Our society in America caters to the cheater. Okay? Sex sells. This country is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. For some people, sex, drugs, and hip hop. Right? There is ass and dick in abundance everywhere. And I'm not talking about ass and dick and pussy behind clothes. I'm talking about these girls have their ass cracks to the camera. These men are in their tighty whities with their six pack and their dick print. It is everywhere. So we live in a society that caters to the cheater, not the one that wants to keep their vows. So even the ones that go in thinking monogamy are tempted continuously. And because humans are going to human, and they were human before they took those vows, and they were human before you gave them that religion, right? They are going to succumb to their most feral nature, which is, I want to fuck something. The last thing on their mind is, but I took a vow. I took a vow. A vow is going. My mother wouldn't like me to do this. God wouldn't like me to do this. But it doesn't stop anything, right? So the person with the most spoils, with the most toys, with the most money has the most power. Even to the point we hear that statement, I love my wife. I'd never leave my wife. I just fuck that chick. She's not important. I would never leave my wife, right? So I do agree with you guys. And that's why I understand what Gabrielle Union said. Now we can all sit up here and be like, no, she took a vow. She's supposed to respect her man. We can judge. No, she's supposed to. She's supposed. And then reality sets in. And that is how power works. The person with the most power is going to wield it. How many powerful people do you know on this planet, right? That are nice. Don't we hear that they're assholes and bitches all the time? The richest people we could think of right now, the richest people we could think, the most wealthy. Aren't there these horrible stories behind their character in their life? Oh, did you hear Bezos did? Did you hear Bill Gates did? Did you hear Elon Musk is? Did you hear Jay-Z, what he did to this artist and that artist? Did you hear what Diddy did to that artist? Did you hear Jennifer Lopez is a bitch on every set she's on? Did you hear Mariah Carey's a diva? Fuck Oprah. Did you hear that Oprah X, Y, and Z? Don't we constantly hear those stories of the people that have the most spoils and toys and money? We're constantly hearing those stories, are we not? Are we not? These people are terrible. These rich people are terrible, right? We're constantly hearing that. But that is the nature of the human being when you're in power. Even the nicest of us. Even the nicest of us. You have a certain amount of power. You could be the type of person that feeds the homeless, adopts puppies on the weekend, right? And if you go in a restaurant and the waitress is a bitch, you're going to make sure she loses her job. That's how it works. So does Gabrielle Union have a point? She felt entitled. She's paying all the bills. And that's another thing that men loathe to hear, that in order to have the most power, you must pay all the bills. Shit, acid, holy water. What did Jen just say? Oh, not all the bills. Ouch. But the economy, inflation, it takes two incomes. Ouch. Right? Did you guys just cringe when you heard that? Pay all the bills. Off with her head. How dare she? Look at this economy. Listen to what I said. To have the most power in a relationship, you must pay all the bills. Now, I didn't say that you can't go halvesies with your wife and she's still not going to love you. Did I say that? I didn't say that. Did anybody hear me say that? Because I didn't say that. You can go halvesies with your wife, right? Y'all can do the 50-50. She can pay half of this, and you can pay half of that, and she can pay half of this, half of that. But you will not, nor are you entitled to, the same dynamic that a man has when he pays all the bills. You want to. You want to, because you're the man and you have the dick and you change tires. And women are supposed to submit. Right? You want to, and it sounds really, really good. It does. Who wouldn't want to have all the power? Right? It's sexy. But you're not entitled to it. You're just not. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. And you have to understand that a woman that's going halvesies with you sees you as a partner, not a leader. Sorry, guys. To the point where Gabrielle Union was paying all the bills and pretty much treated that guy like she was the husband and he was the wife. And that's how human beings are naturally. And you can fight it. You can get mad. You can follow YouTubers that tell you women ain't shit. You can follow YouTubers that tell you men ain't shit. You can follow, you could type. You could super chat them. You could wear them on your t-shirt. You could quote them. You guys are real good at quoting them YouTubers. Oh, y'all are good at that shit. Lord. Can't tell me what your college professor told you. You can't tell me what your high school teacher told you. Can't tell me what your grandma told you. But ooh, let a YouTuber life coach tell you some shit. You motherfuckers are getting tattooed on the crack of your ass. You're getting it tattooed on the crack of your ass. Right? So you guys can go through all of that. But when you log off, when that guy's stream or that girl's stream is over for that day on YouTube, life and reality is still going to be here. Women are going to still want providers. And if you pay all the bills, you're still going to have all the power. And if you go halvesies with a woman, she's not going to see you the same as she looks at her boss. That's just life, guys. You can't get mad at it. So what do we do? What's the solution? Where are the solutions? What's the solution? You have to downgrade. You have to downgrade what you want. That's all. I didn't say it was impossible. Now, is it going to get you perfect happiness? Probably not. But you have to downgrade. You have to understand that your wife, when she goes to her job, right, she's going to admire her boss more than she admires you. You got to downgrade. But at least you'll have a wife in the house. Again, these things aren't impossible. You could be happily married, but you have to downgrade. Okay? You have to understand that if you go half and half with your wife, that is your partner. That is not your submissive, doting wife. That is your partner who's busting her ass like you are to help you pay half the bills. You got to downgrade. You have to understand, come December, she goes to that Christmas party. She's hanging out with men, right, that she would prefer to be with. You just got to downgrade your expectations, and that's okay. That's okay. But those are the facts, man. Don't hate the messenger. Those are just the facts. That is how human beings operate. And you don't have to believe me. Look at your life. Look at your exes. Look at your parents. Look at your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your neighbors. That's how it is across the board. Right? So I agree with Gabrielle Union. I'm going to play a video of something a man said that I found interesting about bill paying. And I want you guys to listen. And I also, no, Saint, I see you. I'm about to bring you up. I'm about to play this video for you. I want you to hear what this man says. It's only a couple seconds. It's just a clip. I want you to hear what this man says. And I want you to see the face of the man that was sitting in the same room. Watch that man's reaction to what this man says about paying bills. Watch his reaction, because that man's reaction is your reaction. Same reaction. And I'm going to tell you why that reaction doesn't matter a fuck. Okay? What's up, no saints? Why can't I hear you?
I thought you were gonna play the video. I wasn't expecting to pop up on the screen like that.
Relax. I'm about to play the video right now. I just wanted to get you up here before I play it.
All right.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna drop the link one more time. Feel free to come up here and argue with me. I may feel like arguing a little bit. Okay. This video is gonna to the fellas, warning, this video is gonna bunch your underoos, your drawers, your dirty boxes, whatever you got on right now, them Calvin Kleins, them Fruit of the Looms, them Hanes. This video is gonna crunch your boxers, all right? But you're gonna be all right. Let me get this video for y'all. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta play this. They ain't gonna like this. Jerome explained that raggedy trick, adultery, and Jennifer Lopez was a breadwinner as well, right? Get the fuck or whatever. I don't know what that means, sir. Y'all English be off as fuck. I don't know what that means. If I don't, I'll take a guess though, because I do speak stupid. So I speak stupid, English, asshole, and Spanish, right? So I'll try to figure out what the fuck you just said, since you can't spell. Your grammar is off. If you mean that Jennifer Lopez was a breadwinner, first of all, she is a breadwinner. She was married. The first husband was a waiter. Okay, dropped his ass. Her second husband was a background dancer, dropped his ass. She had the power in those relationships. So had she cheated, yes, she would have been entitled to cheating because she had the most money and the most options. Now, if you're talking about her getting cheated on, whether you mean Mark Anthony or A-Rod, those were peers. Okay. I don't know if you guys know Jennifer Lopez is worth $300 million, right? So those are A-Rod and Mark Anthony, those are her peers. So somebody's gonna fucking cheat because both sides have hella options. I don't know if that's what you meant, but you could clear up your English and we can revisit, sir. All right, guys, so let me play this video for you. Hold on to your nuts, okay? Because you're not going to like this one. But I agree with them 100%.
Men should pay all the bills, even from day one.
I like this.
From day one. You have to remember what type of presentation are you presenting to a woman, you know? Hey, I'm this dude that wants you to come in the situation and you do you and I do me. What's the point in being with somebody? You should do this literally on date number one, right? Cool. Oh, you got a car note. Okay, cool. This and that. Have your own before you start dating. That way, when you meet a young lady, it's immediately like, hey, I'm going to take care of this. It's not you being paymaster. It's you saying, you're with me, you are with me. You're not with him no more. Now, imagine if you take over and you say, look, I got this, and this. That lets that woman know that you are not playing any games and you are serious about getting with her. What I hate the most is paying half the rent. Because even some ladies say, no, I agree, I'm supposed to split half the rent. That's because you never met a real man, boo-boo.
Yes.
If you would have met a real man, he would never let you pay all the bills or even half the bills.
I'm going to play it one more again without the banner. Look at the guy's face sitting next to him after he said men should pay all the bills. He's like,
men should pay all the bills, even from day one.
I like this.
From day one. You have to remember what type of presentation are you presenting to a woman, you know? Hey, I'm this dude that wants you to come in the situation and you do you and I do me. What's the point in being with somebody? You should do this literally on date number one, right? Cool. Oh, you got a car note. Okay, cool. This and that. Have your own before you start dating. That way, when you meet a young lady, it's immediately like, hey, I'm going to take care of this. It's not you being paymaster. It's you saying, you're with me, you are with me. You're not with him no more. Now imagine if you take over and you say, look, I got this, and this. That lets that woman know that you are not playing any games and you are serious about getting with her. What I hate the most is paying half the rent. Because even some ladies say, no, I agree, I'm supposed to split half the rent. That's because you never met a real man, boo-boo.
Yes.
If you would have met a real man, he would never let you pay all the bills or even half the bills. Men should pay all.
Wow. That was a mouthful. So he thinks men should pay all the bills, or what's the point of a woman being with the man? Before I pass the mic to No Saint, I agree with him 110%. In my experience, the best times I've had with men is when they covered everything. I liked my money being miscellaneous. I liked my money being, let's pay for this restaurant, or let's pay for these concert tickets, second row, or let's pay for this trip to Puerto Rico. I like my money being, I'll use it if I feel like it. If not, or I'll get him this sweater that I saw. I'll get him these kicks that I saw. I like my money being like that, right? I had the best of times in relationships that were like that. And I've had the worst of times with men that I had to help out, right? And I think that's the consensus of most women, but because women are raised to endure and tolerate and nurture and love and accept potential, right? They put up with a lot of shit. They settle with men that they have to help build or have to help just generally to run a home. Now, let me show this one time, okay? Before y'all go throwing up, right? I'm talking about the consensus, right? Yeah, of course there are outliers. Like he just said, there are women that are like, no, I should pay half the rent, right? Okay. So with that said, I will pass the mic. No Saint, what say you?
Hey.
What is this? The Gabrielle Union is pissed off so many people on that podcast.
Yeah, I listen. I don't think unless you are being upfront with somebody that any amount of power dynamics in a relationship should give you a right to cheat. I think it's low down no matter what. But that being said, I also agree with the guy in the video. I've never felt like I wanted a woman to have to pay for anything. I don't know. That to me, that's the one thing men still have a little say in. Like if they're the ones taking care of stuff, you know what I mean? If you give that up, then really it gives the women many more options because somebody's going to pay the bills, right? But that's like a role that we've had for a long time, and I would never feel comfortable like not taking care of my family or my woman or whatever in whatever aspect. I mean, ever since I was young, it just didn't. I never would think like, oh yeah, we're gonna go. Now I've told you before. I had a girlfriend that would say, hey, we can go Dutch on this or something like that. And I was a little younger then, and if I didn't, I wasn't in the situation I am now. So I mean, sometimes it was kind of good because I don't know if I could take him out that night or something like that. But as far as like expecting it, that's the difference. I think is expecting for a woman to pay for half the stuff, or oh, we're in this apartment together. You're going to pay half the electric. That just, to me, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't, to me, it's an attack on. I put that on myself. Like I don't, it's like I don't know. It's like an attack on your manhood. I don't know. It's just, yeah. It's
no Saint. You saying a lot. Don Levon, what video did you just watch? What did you just watch? I don't know what you talking about, Don Levon. Wow, No Saint, you said a mouthful. Something stands out in particular that you said. And I think it's very, very important because men are constantly complaining that women don't need no man because they can do everything on their own, right? So if you add to that, she's also helping with the bills. That is something else you take from a man that you don't need him, right? And once she can pay all the bills by herself, then men become obsolete unless she really likes dick.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's just one more strike. It's one more strike against you. Like if you don't have that, not that that's the only thing you should be looked at, but that's kind of, it's a role. I mean, you're born into that role. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I like it. I just like it. I don't know what to say. I like, I would never feel comfortable if I was, like some guys that are laying up and the woman's taking care of everything, I would never, I don't think I could do it. I think I'd be homeless before I'd let that happen.
So again, you know what I mean? Great point. I don't think there's anything wrong with, the roles and liking the roles and being proud of the roles, right? Whether it's, the woman's role in the home or the man's role. And I know it's got really muddied over the years what men and women are supposed to do. And it's not a thing where it's like, oh, we just want men for money. It's just your role is to protect, provide. Like life could be,
Providing.
yeah, life could be really, really simple, but we've complicated it. And I really think Aran and I had this conversation before where it's like people want to put in minimal effort, and they want the great reward. That's usually, you know what I mean, for people that are doing the work, right? What do I mean? If a man is a whole provider and he's paying all the bills, quite naturally, his woman is going to submit. She's going to respect him. She's going quite naturally, right? She's going to fall into that role like, okay, cool. But a man that's like, well, I need the 50-50 in the economy and inflation and things. He doesn't get that same woman, and then he becomes bitter about it, right? He becomes bitter about it. That's why I say you have to downgrade what it is you think you deserve and you want. Earlier today, I got a DM that I found interesting, and I commend him for it, right? You guys know I was on Kendra G's show, the dating show, whatever. So every now and then she throws the episodes back up. She threw the episode back up yesterday. So people are seeing it like for the first time. So they're DMing me, right? From months ago. And I'm like, I'm not looking for anything. It was a great time there. But one of the guys, I thought it was very sweet. I wouldn't date him anyway, but I thought this was very sweet. And I'm going to read it to you, okay? I'm not going to say his name, but he says, I saw you on Kendra's show today. I'm not going to try my luck. You way out of my league, but I want to tell you, I love your smile and your body. Wish you could be my personal trainer. LOL. Keep getting it. I thought that was amazing because most times guys looking like whatever, being in any type of tax bracket, okay, not giving a damn about how they look, not giving a damn about they should be making more money because a woman's going to accept them no matter what, right? And they'll trip over each other in the DM. Like, why would you think, right? And I'm not saying that, I'm a Victoria's Secret model, though we have the same measurements, 34, 24, 34. Anyway, that's something else. But, I'm not saying that I'm that, but I see things that, I can't reach, right? Like Bugattis are nice. But I don't go into the Bugatti dealership like, well, I want one. Well, why? Because I want one. Why? Because I deserve it. Well, why? You have to pay for it. I don't care. That's the equivalent of men seeing beautiful women or women that are living life at full throttle and thinking that they can insert themselves in that same fucking life when you don't qualify. We all don't qualify for something, but for some reason, men short circuit and they're like, no, I can have anything with a vagina. And it's unrealistic. It is unrealistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you make some good points there. I was thinking, there's a few things I think that are in play. Hey, what's up, man? There's a few things that I think there. I think that, and when you're young, because I remember when I was young, you have this imagination or this world, the way you want the world to be. And so, of course, starting out, I wasn't making a living. I was so you have this thought of, well, why can't people just like me for me? What you don't realize is, yeah, you might be I think I'm a decent guy. I think I can hold a conversation. I think I'm interesting, but you know what? That's not very rare. There are a lot of people like that, and a lot of them have money. You know what I mean? So I think we tend to think that we're special. Your mom tells you you're special. God tells you you're special. If you believe in God, everybody's, especially he knows your name and all that. Wow, God knows my name, out of billions of people. So, so you grow up thinking you're special, and I mean, to some people you are, but you're not special to. You're not necessarily special to people looking for a mate, because there are a lot of people like you that are just as good as just a nice person that hold the conversation, but they also have money. But what you said about the yeah, another thing is you reminded me because even I do this to a certain extent. I mean, I know I do it because I was doing it last night. You get sometimes the way your life turned out. I mean, I'm doing okay, but I was looking at this guy Morris Bart. He was the first person in this state, and now he's over 3 or 4. I think he's 4 states. He was the first person that when the law changed, where you could advertise, call me, I'll get you $1 million for your accident, right? So here I am looking at him. He sits right next to the New Orleans Pelicans bench every game because he sponsors them. He pays like, I forgot, $300,000. I'm like, this son of a bitch, man. He got all this money from this insurance company. Like, but the reality is, and I thought, I wish I would have done that shit. I wish I was in that position when that stuff was going on.
I could have been damn Pelicans, damn it.
But it's just what I'm saying is, but I this whole thing about I don't know, man. I don't know about, I cringe when I hear downgrade because I don't think, I don't know. That to me sounds like something some of these Generation Z people came up with. I don't believe it.
I just came up with it right now. So what's your issue with it?
I don't think you have to downgrade necessarily. I think there's people out there that I've never downgraded. I mean, I've just held out. I just held out until I got what I wanted to get. I don't think I've ever downgraded.
Let me challenge that.
Yeah.
Right? Respectfully.
Okay.
Your wife, I'm sure, is a beautiful, sweet, doting woman, dedicated, loyal, right?
Yeah.
But she's not Gisele Bundchen, right? She's not worth $500 million.
Well, no. She's not worth $500 million.
Right?
I don't think. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, if we're talking about the money and stuff, of course. I mean, but I've never looked at. But that's the thing. I've never gone in a relationship expecting a woman to have to make money. Mm-hmm. I always felt like, okay, I'm in a position. Like I said, I'm not rich by any means. I'm probably what you can. Everybody thinks they're middle class. I'm probably what you consider working class. I mean, I do okay. But I'm not rich. But I knew I could take care of a family, so I never looked for a woman that had money. I mean, it wasn't a priority on my checklist, I should say.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Haran Marco, what say you? I don't know how much you done heard or saw already.
I'll throw a few things. First of all, if his wife was worth $500 million, he wouldn't be on this motherfucking chat with us right now. Let's just keep that a buck.
That's true.
We appreciate you, Saint.
Because I know damn well I wouldn't be on this motherfucking chat.
Oh, I would?
My wife.
If she was $500 million, she wouldn't be with me. That's the reality.
But you see, the fact that you said that leads to my point that I'm about to make. I think that people are just very delusional when it comes to relationships and love, man. And power dynamics. Yeah. Like Jen, like you and I have been around people with money. I mean, money, like real money. People who don't ask for people who literally don't ask for how much something costs. People who just walk into places and say, "I want that." You know what I'm saying? That kind of money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll take 2 of them exactly. You know what I mean? That kind of money. And those people, from what I noticed, they don't tend to have this idealistic concept of relationships that a lot of people who don't have that kind of money have. It's like the lower you get down the ladder, the more idealistic and unrealistic motherfuckers get about relationships and love. And then you gotta ask yourself, well, are all these people really in love, or you just don't have options?
Oh, damn. Ooh.
because I know a lot of brothers right now, if you gave them $40 million, all the brothers in the chat right now, if you gave them $40 million, they'd be talking real different in the morning. They'll be talking real different in the morning. All of a sudden, that cute thing that their wife used to do all of a sudden annoys the fuck out of them. You know what I mean? That cute little thing they used to do, like breathing or something like that, or existing. You know what I mean? They get really annoyed by that shit. You know what I mean? Because look, listen, it's human nature. When you got options and when you got things on the table, you move different. You have freedom. You know, it's the same thing when people say like, okay, you go to your job and you put up with the bullshit at your job because, well, you got no other job on tap right now, or you're not an entrepreneur, or you ain't win the lottery yet. You know how people always joke about, well, what if they won the lottery? They'll slap the shit out their boss the next morning or some shit like that or whatever. But there's truth in that statement though.
Yep.
What they're saying is basically like, if I had the money, I'll have the freedom to be myself and pursue the things that I want to pursue and say the things that I want to say to people. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people really suppress who they are because, well, they just have no options. It's not really that he's a nice guy. He just has no fucking options.
Oh, you know what?
So-
That takes us listen, oh my God, the freaking science. That takes us back to the stream, the starter wives.
Yeah.
Right? All them guys had that first wife that was there putting up with him. She looked a certain type of way. Soon as they got them 6 zeros in that account, boom, younger, newer, prettier, sometimes lighter model comes in, and that's who you get with. So, I mean, we're not making this shit up. What you said is the fucking truth. What you said is the truth. Are you in love? Or are you just settling because you don't have a lot of options? Soon as them options come, them guys, they trade her in. We've seen it over and over and over.
Over and over.
I'm
Look, man,
laughing
I know.
because it reminds me of and Haran will know this. So there was you might remember this too, Jim, but back in like 2000, 2001, the Rams stumbled into Kurt Warner, who was bagging groceries at some grocery store, and he became a Super Bowl champion. And all I could think of years later is he's still with that lady because she had a butch kind of like shortcut hair, and she just looked like a grandma. And I'm like, he stayed with her. He made it big. I was like, that's love, man. That's love.
But did he cheat? But did he cheat?
I have no idea.
I'm sure he cheated.
I'm sure he cheated.
I'm
He was
sure
a
he cheated.
Christian.
She,
he's proclaimed
then
Christian.
he really cheated.
Yeah, right.
Because Jesus is gonna forgive him.
Exactly. He was really out there.
But so when you see that, what I'm saying is when you see something like that, it kind of is the exception when people make it big and they don't have that eye candy on their shoulder.
Look who's a good example of a guy who I think was somewhat in love or respected the woman was Jason Williams, man. You know what I mean? That actor from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, is that the real skin one?
Yeah, you know what I mean, with the eyes and shit. And you know, when I saw his wife at the time before he got divorced, he was like, yeah, it's his wife. And I looked at it, I was like, oof, must be a lovely woman.
You know what's funny? The more they had a bad divorce, but the more famous he got, because I really paid attention to him after he did that eloquent speech. I think it was at the Awards. So everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Then his name started buzzing, and I was like,
"Oh!" After, just to let you know, after he did that speech, I was like, "This nigga's full of shit." But you know what I mean? Jen, I know bullshit.
Like, oh
we're from New York, Jen.
But I think
I know bullshit when I smell it.
I think he was doing that light skin guilt thing.
Of course he was. Of course he was. That's how I said it was bullshit. But lo and behold, a couple of months after that, he went white and he dropped his wife.
And you know, he had his dick leaked on the internet. I'm sure it helped. I'm sure that helped him a lot.
I mean, hey man, like listen. Look, I'm a firm believer in when you begin to accept human nature for what it is, you don't get hurt by a lot of things because it's expected, man. Like, look, I've done things in my life where it was just like I put up with certain things because, I just really didn't have any options at the time. You know what I mean? But best believe once them options rolled in, it was just like, you know what I mean? And it was what it was. It was like, thanks for playing. Had a great time. But this is, we'll always have Starbucks. It's like,
We'll always have them coffee dates, girl.
exactly. We'll always have the coffee dates. But it's going to the Gabrielle Union shit. Like, I see it like this. Like, we have to come to terms with that with this notion right here. What double standards are we willing to excuse? Because according to Kevin Samuels, a man who is the breadwinner, who is affluent, and he has his wife or whatever, and he steps out, he's not cheating, he's exercising his options.
Okay.
So if that man is the one with the financial control, shouldn't it be fair to say that if women have financial control, they're not cheating also? What double standards are we willing to accept, and what double standards are we willing to toss out? And when are we willing to say that we only accept the double standards that benefit us as a gender or personally? Because at the end of the day, most people really don't have a problem with oppression. They have a problem with being oppressed. Are you mad because someone got fucked, or are you mad because you got fucked? There's a difference around this shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so I see it like this. I mean, if he put himself in that situation and she's over there, the breadwinner, and she's taking care of everything, from my perception, that's the equivalent of allowing her to peg you. And whatever happens to that, happens to that. Or after that.
Haran.
That's just me. That's just me.
Oh goodness.
If she's taking care of you like that, bro, you know what I mean? She's you're the one spooning and the one cuddling and curled up, you know what I mean, when you're in the bed, you know what I mean? She's pegging you, she's doing all kinds of emasculating things to you. That's just me. That's just
listen,
me.
I'm not even gonna lie. Let me acknowledge this. This is Jay Savage. Stop. He said, damn, that dude in her DM sound like a simp. See, we can't put that, no. We can't put that word willy-nilly on everybody. I don't think he's a simp. I think he's a realist, and I actually respect that. I respect that he was like, look, I ain't for you, but keep on keeping on. I just wanted to acknowledge you and give you a compliment and keep moving. What is the difference between that and, again, walking in a Bugatti dealership to admire the car, knowing damn well you can't afford it? You still gonna admire the car. Guys still put the posters up on their wall. Like, does that make him a crumb or a simp? No, you still like, yo, props and all. It ain't for me. I ain't about to even try to afford that, but it's dope. So let's stop throwing the word simp around just because we don't agree with people.
That word.
What's up? Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year.
What's going on, Dave? How you feeling, homie?
What's going on? I'm good. Maintaining.
Yay.
So this is an interesting one right here.
Let me tell you.
I saw the interview with Gabrielle Union. I saw it.
Good. Okay, so you're up to speed.
Yeah.
Did you see the video that I played about the man saying a man should pay all the bills?
No, but I agree for that. I agree with that for the most part. Yeah, I'm with that.
I'm gonna play it again because I see a lot of people in the room just got in the room. It's only a couple seconds long. Don Levon, listen this time because I don't know what you heard. He didn't say what you said. He said
men should pay all the bills, even from day one.
I like this.
From day one. You have to remember what type of presentation are you presenting to a woman, Hey, I'm this dude that wants you to come in the situation and you do you and I do me. What's the point of being with somebody? You should do this literally on date number one, right? Cool. Oh, you got a car note. Okay, cool. This and that. Have your own before you start dating. That way, when you meet a young lady, it's immediately like, hey, I'm gonna take care of this. It's not you being paymaster. It's you saying, you're with me, you are with me. You're not with him no more. Now imagine if you take over and you say, no, I got this, this, and this. That lets that woman know that you are not playing any games and you are serious about getting it with her. What I hate the most is paying half the rent. Because even some ladies say, no, I agree, I'm supposed to split half the rent. That's because you never met a real man, boo-boo.
Yes.
If you would have met a real man, he would never let you pay all the bills or even half the bills.
Okay. Now that I got some context of what Homeboy was saying, he was talking about from like date once. Like, hi, my name is Dame. What's your name? Okay, you got show me your bills. Let me pay them. You know, yeah, that's a little extra.
That's your interpretation. I didn't take it like that.
No,
No,
don't
wait.
get me wrong.
No, day one means day one. Like, what are we
He
talking
said
about
day
here,
one.
man?
He said even on a date, even when you dating.
He said from the first date, right? You should, in
Yeah.
other words, don't tell her to go Dutch. But I'm not thinking he literally.
I get that.
Yeah, I don't think he's saying that. Give me your light bill on the first date. Let me pay your
I
light
know.
bill.
I'm being
I think he just
facetious,
means
but
the date is
Day
taken
two
care
with the
of.
light
I'm going to
bill.
take care of everything. I'm going to pick you up. You don't have to worry about a thing.
I'm like this. When dating, while we dating, it's like I'm probably asking you out more, so I'm paying for shit, and it's not a big deal. That's the way it's supposed to be. I do agree with that, but I think as far as any bills, unless y'all cohabitate and live in the same house, I don't think you should be paying for a bill. Be like, oh, you live, on the other side of town. What's your light bill? I'm gonna pay that for you, or what have you. If that's the case, I'm like, if I'm paying bills, then we need to have a different discussion. Because there's certain expectations that go along with me paying those bills. And you need to know that, because I'm not just going to be giving you money. I don't care how much money I got. I'm like, look, if I'm paying your bills, here's what I expect in return. I think there needs to be, dudes need to be a lot more forthright when it comes to that. I think they just they don't spell out what that means. They do it. And then the women start to do something they don't want them to do. And they be like, whoa, I'm paying the bill. Be like, well, so what? I didn't ask you to, or whatever. Then they get, as opposed to, look, I'm paying the bills. That means that you're dating me exclusively, we're together, blah, 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 blah. I think you need to spell out what's the strings that come along with paying the bill. That's not somebody you are in a long-term relationship that you living together.
Now, do you think that to be fair, do you think that that's a tax bracket thing? For instance, we hear a lot of, I know it's happened to me. After I broke up with one of my boyfriends, he was still depositing money in my account.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Right. And it wasn't like we were fucking every now and then. We stopped completely. Plus he was my ED guy. So there was nothing going on.
Yeah, I remember you said that too.
Right?
Just call him Ed.
Okay, Ed. His
ED,
middle name is Edward. His middle name is Edward. So we call him Ed. So do you think that people move according to how they view money and how much money they have? Like when you listen to a Drake lyric, when he was like, yeah, I bought this one a purse, I bought this one a truck, bought this one a mall, make sure you keep track of it all. Yeah, I gave that waitress 10 racks. Like I ain't even fucking with her like that. Does tax bracket have something to do with it, and how you look at money have something to do with it? I know the more money I
absolutely
have, the tipper I am, right? The bigger tipper, I don't care what people
absolutely
say. Jen, you tip
100%. And that's one thing I think, and I said this before on this panel, I think even was like a lot of dudes don't understand how people with money move. It's like they look at from their point like, oh my God, you bought X, but it's like, but buying like what I gave the example of Sam McCall buying this chick that he knew a car, and he was just like, everybody was like simping. I'm like, dude, that's like you buying her flowers. He was like, it hits my pocket the same way a bouquet of roadside flowers hits your pocket. It's nothing to me, So you got to understand that. Once I understood, rich people move way differently than people who are struggling, and so you can't even like consider what they do in the same realm, in the same state of mind as how you get down.
I think also that, a lot of brothers need to be very honest about what they can achieve, what they can accomplish financially, whether it be right now or if they assume that's just all they got. Like, for instance, I tell people all the time, don't come to New York, with talking that gangster shit. That you gonna pay all the bills, you're gonna do all this unless you got it like that. You know what I mean? You got your look. You can have your woman living with you and so on and so forth or whatever, and y'all cohabitating and so on. But if your pockets ain't really hefty like that, if you ain't really ready to handle real New York expenses, New York is not the place where you talk that shit. You know what I mean? Go talk that shit someplace else where, things cost things cost $2, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Your ability to amass a certain salary, you can actually make that work where you are. Because I've seen dudes try to pull that off in places like California, San Francisco, and New York, and they get their fucking shit busted. And I'm like, yeah, you got your shit busted because you didn't say flat out and tell her, like, look, the kind of bread that I'm making right now or can make, I can't do the 100%. I got to do 50-50. And there's nothing to be ashamed of with that. You got to be honest, man. If you can do yada yada, then do yada yada. But if you can't, you're just gonna set yourself up for failure. You know what I mean? Because you want to. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I'm saying I hear what you're saying, man, because it's just one thing, and you got to make sure you're not setting yourself for like some pain down the line, like you said. Like, don't set the standard if you can't maintain it, because you got to maintain it for a while. Once you set that's how you roll, the person that's with you gonna think that's how you rock, and it's gonna it may even come to a surprise. Even if they were willing to do it at the beginning, if they got in their mind this is how he rolls. It's gonna be a surprise, and you may be in for a rude awakening if you ever get to the point you can't do that. So you need to really realistic expectation.
Don Levon, thank you for the super chat. Don Levon, I'm gonna beat you up. He said the man should pay all the bills from day one is what I heard. Fahim Jackson, thank you for the super chat. Fahim says, as a kid, I saw guys in the hood who took whatever and lived under women. Every other weekend, he was kicked out with his gym bag and Jordans that she bought.
That was my brother.
As he should be.
My oldest brother saw that. And that's how he right down. He was one day I was talking to him. He was like, I was like, who you staying with? And he was like, he told me her name. I was like, so you homeless, basically. Like, if she get mad at you, you ain't got a home. If your name ain't on, so my dad told me that. My dad told me a lot of game. He was like, if your name ain't on where you live, you homeless.
Yeah, and
and that only works probably, like, I know Jen talked about the guy that she was with that struggled all the time. You got to have something going on. If you don't have money and they're keeping you around and they're paying all your bills, maybe you're just you got that. You're good at getting it down, but most guys probably aren't.
I mean, me and my boy, we was telling, we was talking about this. And sometimes we tell dudes, like, look, man, just go to the gym, man. Just go to the gym. And just and rest to the idea of being a woman's concubine. If it's that's the easiest thing for you. You know what I mean? Not maybe a woman a pass up a 6-pack, whether she's, rich or poor.
We won't keep them, but
and the gym has a shower, so you can keep yourself clean if you are homeless.
Exactly. Also,
describing my ex. Stop it.
Also, if you're gonna be a woman's concubine, knowing to shut up. You have no say so. There's no authoritative. You better rip that bass right out your voice, man.
It's just that I don't even lie to a woman. I just say I just do the best I can. Either she accepts or rejects. I mean, so it goes back to the guy that they were calling a simp. What you said, Damien. Like, if you can't do something up front, don't lie about doing it just because you're excited about that woman that's right before you. And that's basically what he said in the DM. Like, how could you not respect that?
Well, I just hate the fact that people that give women compliments. Jen, I give you compliments I all the time. I think you're attractive, and all that, I know I'm not your type, first of all. So, so I'm not giving you compliments because I think I'm getting something out of it. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not going to lie to you either. So it just seems like people call people simps because they're not being rude to people, which is really weird to me. Because maybe they don't have a chance, so they feel they have to be rude. They want to be rude to get the first punch. Like, I'm not going to give her a chance to reject me. I'm going to put her where she needs to be or something. Come on, you're playing games.
That's exactly what it is. It's just what kids used to do in elementary school.
Well, let's see. We arrived at the juncture where you can't be nice to women. You're not supposed to be nice to women. You can't buy a woman flowers. You can't open a door. You can't speak to her respectfully. You can't compliment her. You literally are only perceived as a man or an alpha or whatever if you are being disparaging, if you are being toxic, if you are being cruel.
Yeah.
And the age of the gentleman is dead. The age of the gentleman is truly dead. Like, people see being a gentleman as a sign of weakness, which in all reality, that's not the case.
I'm all for being chivalrous. I really don't, but I'm not for being no fool either. It's
You
like
breaking up.
if you
Hey, you breaking up, Dan.
reciprocated.
Damien, you on the
Okay,
water.
hold on now.
Yeah.
We're losing you,
Oh,
Damien.
I'm gonna come down and come back up.
Okay.
All right.
Am I better?
No,
No,
Can you hear
you
me?
froze.
you froze
I'm
now.
Okay, he's coming back. Tristan said, imagine being a civil functioning adult is considered simping. That's how ridiculous. That's how ridiculous we're getting online. It's like people don't want, it's crazy. I'm gonna have to do a Instagram about this, a little video, because like people don't want you to be happy, they don't want you to love, they don't want you to like, they don't want you to say, you can't do anything. Like they don't
better.
want you happy, they don't, better.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I mean, I can sit here and do 20 Zoom meetings with PowerPoint presentations, and then I get on this thing, and then my shit starts fucking up. I don't understand. I'm not understanding, But just to get back to what I was saying, I think I'm with being chivalrous, but I'm just not with being a fool. Like if it's not reciprocated in some form or fashion, whether it's time, appreciation, something, then it's then you kind of playing your
That's simple.
bit.
That's simple.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. Doing nice things, saying nice things is just being a gentleman, and I'm all 100% for that. But like I said, if I'm saying, hey, let me take you out, let me do this, and you're just like, you leave me on red, or you don't answer or whatever, or I get, you getting the bare minimum as far as text. The only text you really getting back is the accepting of the gift or the dinner date or something like that. Then I think that's when you can be called a simp if you're gonna be called something.
But then what do you call a woman? Because women do that a lot too.
Same thing.
Pick me.
There you go. Like I told you, the chick who bought me the tail light for my car.
Tail light lady.
She was she was a pick me. She straight up said, I'm doing this to show you I'm different than the other chicks that you mess with. I'm better.
And he chose the other chicks anyway.
100% of the time.
Listen. I hope y'all are listening. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about, exactly what Gabrielle Union said? She said she felt entitled to cheat because she was paying all the bills. Do you naturally feel entitled to cheat or more in control of their relationship when you pay all the bills? I think yes.
It gives you the leverage to negotiate yourself the best possible deal for yourself in a relationship, if you're so inclined. If you have access to significant resources and you say, you know what, like not Donald Trump, like Donald Trump, but what's his name? Bill Gates. He told his wife, Melinda, once a year, I'm going to go mess with this chick for a couple of weeks or a month out of the year. And that's what it is. And he did that, I think, for like 10 years. He was with a chick. Google it. He had a mistress that she knew about for like years. And he told her straight up, I've known this chick, I'm gonna be with this chick, and that's what it is. And she accepted it. If you have resources, you have the opportunity to say, look, you're gonna have access to everything. You're gonna have the cars, the house, the security, you're gonna have the last name. But once in a while, when I'm out in Brazil or Europe, I may smash somebody else, and just don't ask me what I did. Just ask me, did I have a good time?
That just hearing that.
But Jen, on the flip side, you're basically saying just hearing that. Now look at it on the flip side. Say if you got your dude Dude is out here. He's worth millions, close to $1 billion, whatever. He's never at home, so on and so forth. The pool boy's around. He's half the dude's age. He's in great shape. You're not gonna, do something with that. You're not gonna,
But
you're not gonna indulge and so on and so forth.
the
And
man would not accept that at all. The dude
but
would be
wait a
like, "You
minute.
out."
But wait a minute though. From the man's perspective, if he found out about it, of course he'd react. But from thinking from my perspective, is it realistic to think that your woman is just sitting there waiting for you to come home and bring the dick? You know what I mean? You ain't been home in like 6-7
Yeah,
months.
yeah.
She's just
If
gonna
I
be,
have
you
close
know
to $1
what I
billion
mean?
and she has access to
Now,
every luxury on the face of the earth. No,
realistically
the
thinking, I'm
smart
not
woman
thinking
would
she's
say,
gonna do it.
"Hey," the smart woman would say, "Hey, I'm gonna charter a flight to where you at. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Can I come? How often can I be with you on
Right,
those trips and
right,
stuff like that?" That's the
right.
smart woman. A dumb woman that go fuck the pool boy and hope to not get found out, because then the pool boy got leverage. The pool boy gonna go to TMZ and be like I smashed Bill Gates' wife, and Bill Gates got embarrassed, and he gonna leave his wife, and she's gonna end up with next to nothing. So
So let me
she's not.
ask you a
If she
question.
does that, there's a lot more downside for her than it is for him doing it.
Now let me ask you a question. How
I mean, like,
often does
because
the
a
latter
woman,
happen, and how often does the
yeah, go
former
ahead.
happen? How often does the former happen? How often does the latter happen?
I'm talking about what we talked about. High profile cats. If high profile cats, they
Right,
just quietly leave their wife with
right,
nothing
right.
or close to
For me
nothing.
personally, from sitting from my perspective, and I don't got money like that, so maybe if I had money like that, it would be a different perspective. But knowing that I'm not there, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, she's not gonna do fucking anything. Like, come on, man. I mean, like, I just don't trust people to that point. You know what I mean? That's just me. Now, even if she hopped on a plane, I might just think like, man, but she was probably sucking somebody's dick while she was waiting online there. You know what I mean? I'm that's just me. That's just who I am. You know what I mean?
To answer your question, Haran,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be stupid enough to think I'm gonna get with a man in that bracket and not think he has a myriad of options. That's why
Of
I wouldn't
course.
get with that man serious one-on-one. Now, would I fuck around with him and take the toys and the gifts and the trips? Yes, but I wouldn't
Okay, that's fair.
want to put myself in a position where I'm sitting waiting at home for him to finish fucking the models in Brazil. And I don't like that position. Like, I want to be the one. I want to be the Gabrielle Union, right? Except I
See,
would not.
but you see, that's what I'm saying. You're being honest about that.
I'm being honest. I wouldn't do the marriage thing. I'd want to be in Gabrielle Union's position, and I'm fucking my trainer because he looks good and he don't ask for much. Right? I'm fucking my trainer and I'm fucking my chef if he looks good too. I'm keeping it 100. If I'm in that bracket, I'm gonna be more
Right.
excited about continuing to make money than being excited about having a husband, right? Because the priorities change. Usually women that are not in that tax bracket, their priority is that husband and that security. But if I'm in that tax bracket, all I want is for the man I'm fucking to look good. So I understand the psychology of it. Like, I don't need you for anything else but to look good and fuck me good. I don't need your money. So I don't have to be doting. I don't have to submit.
Right.
Just feel good when you're here. So I'm thinking my trainer. I already got plans. I'm thinking my trainer. And
So you want the leverage. So you want the leverage.
yes, I want.
So we can sit here and we can contend that it is about leverage most of the time in a relationship. These are the power dynamics and the politics that happen in relationships. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean, couples find their rhythm. There's couples who find their rhythm and, you know what I mean, they make things work and there's not anyone trying to, you know what I mean, leg up on the other one. You know, great situation for those couples. But other couples, there's a degree of abuse going on. You know what I mean, to some degree, whether it be financial abuse, emotional abuse, whether it be the woman doing it to the guy, so on and so forth. Like I told you a story of I think Jen, I told you a story of a dude who, you know what I mean, he used to be in shape, he got out of shape real bad. You know what I mean? His wife started treating him like shit. You know what I mean? She suspected that she stepped out on him and so on and so forth because he didn't have any leverage. You know, he no longer had any leverage. He no longer had any power. He had no, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I don't think he was getting it. I don't think he was getting it like he was getting it before though. I mean, he wasn't broke, but he wasn't getting it. So he was out of shape. He wasn't getting the money he was getting. So of course the situation, a perception of him changed, man, and it happens.
To answer this, only NJ says she has a husband now. Yeah, but that was a power move. Like Dwayne Wade had like 10 times the money that Gabrielle Union has. So that was a power move. That makes sense, right? Is she a good wife?
And she knew he had way more opportunities to mess around her. I think he did have a kid on her actually. He did mess around early, and he's got a baby that happened when they were together.
Baby. Yep.
The what?
He sure did.
Yeah,
sure
so
did.
He had a break baby, something like that. A break baby, I think. Had a baby when they was on break with each other.
To answer Steve M, because I love bringing people into reality. Steve M says, I don't understand why Gabrielle wants all this attention. When you are a celebrity, actress, singer, rapper, your job is to get attention. Your job is to go on podcasts and interviews and say the most incendiary, crazy, toxic thing there is so people can talk about you. It's literally part of the job. Now, if she was a housewife, you know what I mean, a PTA mom, that's different. But she wants all that attention because she needs it to keep her name in the press. That's why they do it. That's why they all do it.
Yeah. But the one thing about it is if your thing is the way you look, if that's your hook into the person that you with, your person that has money or what have you, there's a shelf life on that though. That's the thing. Money, there's no shelf life on money. There's zero shelf life on bread. There's a definite shelf life on money.
That's why I would not commit. That's why I would not commit. Now, I'm gonna enjoy it. We gonna get it popping, and but I'm like, I would not commit to that because I really do think it's a life of misery, even for the women that love the red bottoms and the bags and whatever. I mean, there's only but so many times you could post your Gucci bag on Instagram before you feel like shit inside. Because he's fucking everybody else. He's fucking your friends. He's fucking that girl you met at the bar. He's fucking the girl at the party. He's fucking your cousin because he got all that money. Like, you can't tell me that posting red bottoms on Instagram makes up for how you feel inside unless you're a vacant woman. Right? Mm-hmm. Vacant woman.
There's a lot of vacant women, though, out there. There's a lot of...
I'll give you a story because, like you said, we've been in those circles. I know Damien has been in those circles. I don't know about No Saint exactly, but we've been in those circles, and I know a very, very well-known household name rapper producer, and twice a year he would go with his entourage, who are also household name rappers. It just so happens that one of them used to always call me up and confide in me, but he said twice a year they all get together, they do a trip, they take bitches along, okay, they sign NDAs, and those guys are married. But this is a known thing. The wives know that this trip is done twice a year, okay? So it is known, like if you're going to be in that situation and you're going to be with a man on that level, that fame, that fortune, yeah, you're going to have to share him. I can't do it. I can't do it. I do the sharing. No. But so it exists. These things happen and they're more common than people think. That is the lifestyle. So does the breadwinner get a pass to cheat? Yeah. I know No Saint was like, there's never a reason to cheat. That's just
it's not that it's not a reason. I'm saying you need to have it up front. If you're a decent person, you need to have that agreement up front. I think it's rotten when you're going behind somebody's back. I've always said, like, it's, the younger you are, the harder it is to understand, but it's really not necessarily your fault when someone goes. Sometimes it could be. Now, I'm not saying, sometimes you may have placed something into it, but if someone is just always doing it, then that's on them. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that you need to be, to me, that's what I believe. If you're gonna do it, you have the decency to say, look, I don't really want to be
pair bonding with you, I want to have many.
Glenn, let's summon Glenn.
Oh, like an open, like an open type thing, like I'm just gonna, maybe I want to be with you, but I also want to be with other people sexually, or, you need to be upfront. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's why I respect Polly on here. Polly, like she got a good setup.
Listen, but is it an unspoken rule? Like when we hear that an athlete cheated on his wife, what is the first thing we say? We usually say, that bitch knew getting with that guy was going to happen. That's the first thing we say. So is it an unspoken rule? Are people going into relationships with people of status and money and acting fucking delusional about the relationship? I know I couldn't keep an athlete home, cute as I am and skilled as I am.
I think it's if depending on like the like you said, the job, if it's a job in entertainment, stuff like that, would have to travel a lot, stuff, then you kind of have it somewhere in the back of your mind. But if your man or woman drive a bus, you're not thinking they're gonna be cheating on you with the passengers in the back seat. Last stop, but it's certain things, like if you at the club and you holler at
drivers.
Yeah, if you holler at a celebrity, you're not hollering at the celebrity for fidelity. You're not like, oh my God, Future looks like he is very faithful. I'm going to holler at him. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to go, Nobody's getting at Drake thinking fidelity. They're thinking access to resources. And so they're willing to look past that. The hard part is if you were with the person day one and then they come up, then that's something different. Like if you were a high school girlfriend, but still, if he's like the star basketball player, then there's the potential for him to go to the NBA and stuff like that. So you have it in your mind. Or if you're a rapper and you up and coming, like DMX wife said that was like, I knew early on that he was going to beat somebody, and I knew what I'd have to deal with, as his wife.
I think there's something in our. I think there's something in our genetic conditioning that subconsciously we understand that, okay, I'm going to go on the deep end of the pool with this one. Motherfuckers might think I'm full of shit with this. Whatever. I'll stand by it. The Pareto principle that I always tell people, basically a small number of people or small number of entities are productive, while most people are not, and they're wasteful. Now, if we look at men, a very small amount of men are actually productive. A small amount of men have a certain degree of strong genes. A small amount of men out there have the capabilities to really go out there and get resources. This has been the case since the beginning of time. Every society, every generation. Now, if there are only a small amount of men who are of quality, and there's a whole bunch of women who want that small amount of men, logic and math dictates at some point in time, somebody's sharing these guys. You know what I mean? Like 5 or 6 women are sharing one of these dudes. And during the days of hunters and gatherers, that was the case. Like before we did the whole monogamy thing or whatever, that was the case. Like one guy who was able to kill like 3 or 4 buffaloes in an hour had like 4 or 5, 6 chicks. You know what I mean? It was just what it was. So I think that when we see a man in power, and we find out he's cheating, it's not like, it's just, oh, okay.
Because historically it was expected. It was
exactly
expected. Kings, dukes, chiefs, whatever. They all had multiple women. It's kind of expected, I think.
Yeah,
right.
But even in say prehistoric days, and I'm going to even link us. You can see it even in chimpanzees. You'll have the dominant male, even back when you're talking about, that gets the 5 buffaloes, and the female flock. But then, like, he thinks he, is pair bonding, and then when he's out hunting the buffalo, she's getting a little 15-year-old male, or for legal purposes, 18-year-old male on the side. And you see that even with chimps. When the dominant male's not around, one of those little chimps comes in there and hurries up, and luckily it's pretty quick. because if he gets caught, he will get killed.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it even happens in the animal kingdom. Like she may pick the top dudes, but other guys are sliding in there when they get a chance. But the gym rats, I guess we could say, the
I
ones with
guess
the six packs.
you know how you know how like you know how brave you gotta be to like fuck a silverback gorilla's bitch. Like you know how brave you gotta be to pull that off. Shout
Many
out to that
a gorilla has gotten killed doing it. Okay, many a gorillas.
That's right.
Donovan said, when women make money, they think that they don't need a man. But when a man makes money, he thinks he needs a woman. No, he thinks he needs many women. I don't know about a woman.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I just saying I really do feel like, and somebody once said this, I'm trying to remember who it was. He was like, it's a lot of dudes who are, a lot of times it's revenge of the nerds. And a lot of dudes are just living the life they couldn't live prior to them having that money. But because if I think dudes who was getting it like on the regular and was messing with hot chicks and stuff like that, like without money, don't see they haven't pedestalized like sex and pussy and stuff like that. They just don't. It's just something that is there. And they think, how is yours? You know, like my mind state is, you know, how is yours better than my wife? There's no way. You might know what you call it, but the guilt and the loss of the stuff that I'm gonna get from her way outweighs any trick you can do with your tongue. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Like I agree with this. Like we're talking, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we're talking about, you know, when Jen was talking about the personal trainer. Now, I know she's not talking about pair bonding with the personal trainer. She's just saying she has all the money but when it comes to like you know, that's why for 1 offs or 2 offs or 10 offs or whatever, that'll work. But if you do happen to get with, you know, that part fades no matter what. Like I'll give you an example. My wife's accent. And the cutest thing, man, it was adorable. And it's still, but it doesn't affect me anymore. I hear her, I talk, and it's just an act, you know, it's just the way she speaks. But when I first met her, it was like, man, that's so sexy. And now I just hear
let her get mad
know?
at you. It might even be annoying if she gets mad at you.
It's never annoying. Well, for me, it never has been annoying, but it's just not it's just the way it is. You know, it's no longer
you get tired of driving if you own a Ferrari, you get tired of driving Ferraris.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I think like some people, and let's get it straight. Not everybody is like has that type of a. I don't want to put anything on Jen. I have no idea what her sex drive is, but sex obviously on this platform is important to her. Some people it's not as important. And so they're looking for something else.
I know, honey. Trust them. No.
You know what's real crazy? Like, I'm gonna tell y'all a story today, personal story today. I'm gonna get a little personal. I was talking to one of my old chicks I used to date. You know what I mean? And I told her like, yeah, I'm planning on, you know, moving soon. It'd be great if we link up, we could talk, yada yada, whatever. Before I'm out. And you know, we were talking about, you know, back in the days or whatever. And she was like, yeah, how are you girls now? And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, you know, like 2 of them we broke up, and one of them, you know what I mean, she's still around, but you know, I'm pretty much kind of dry right now. And she was like, yeah, you. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, because I used to, you know what I mean, you know, back in the days, I used to keep them on tap. But the point of the matter is this, it's just like, as I've gotten older, I've said to myself, it's really more so about the quality of the situations. You know what I mean? It's not really more so, even though I'm poly, you know, it's not, I'm not just going to just date multiple women just to do it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, all these encounters that I've had, they're really just war stories at the end of the day, man.
Yeah. Really it's a drain on your time and your resources. It's a drain on your time and the resources. Seriously, it's like
it really is. It really is. I'm like, I mean, I might go out there, you know, me have a little run in the summer or whatever, you know what I mean, have a little fun, but I won't do it like I used to do it, because it's just I'm a different man now, and I just see the importance of like, look, the older you get, the more you start really respecting your time more.
Yeah.
and you
So
start
glad-
realizing that you can't really get that back.
I'm so glad you said that, and here's why. I mean, this could be a whole other topic, but I'm so glad you said that because, you know, a lot of people point the finger at women like, oh, now that she's 30, she wants to settle down. Now that she's 40, that's a human condition. It happens to men and women. It happens to men and women. You get older and you're like, you know what? I don't really want to play the field, or I don't want to keep losing out on these resources. I don't want to keep using these resources and not getting a return. I don't want to be with a lot. I don't want to contact 3-4 hoes and my phone is too much work. It's just a human condition. It happens to men and women. So it's funny when men bring it up about women, but I'm like, men are the same way.
But it's just the women that they have access is different. Like if both people, men and women at 35 thinking, you know what, I'm tired of the bullshit. I want to settle down, make something significant. Women at 35, unfortunately, men still have access to 22-year-old women and stuff like that. Women, if they access in 22-year-old, it ain't on the same level. They're usually the sugar mama. They're usually kind of paying for it, or they're usually getting into some situation that's not going to be long term.
But that's the same thing with men when they go with younger women.
You know,
the younger women will marry a younger woman and we'll have these younger women have a baby.
Right.
They absolutely will.
I'm saying a 25-year-old woman is not going to be some executive CEO. He wants her to bear the baby. But
absolutely.
when a woman has a 22-year-old, it's the same dynamic. It's like, I know more than you. I have more money than you. You know what I mean? Let's fuck around. Yeah, I would think.
But
good. Like I could get a 22-year-old.
Yeah, you could, but you would get tired of it. You know, you use it for what it was, and then you're not thinking, okay, now this 22-year-old is I'm gonna have babies with him, or I'm gonna build with him, or he's gonna be a person that, you know, of anything but more than fun. A 35-year-old dude will deal with a 22-year-old chick, and if she's cool enough, be like, okay, yeah, I'll marry you and throw a couple babies in you and stuff like that. And, you know, it could happen. I'm just saying it's more likely to happen a dude to date the 22-year-old, take the 22-year-old seriously than it is for a woman to take the 22-year-old serious, 22-year-old man seriously. It's just women, it's just going to be off for fun.
I dated a 28-year-old about maybe 2 years ago, and that shit grew staler than a motherfucker after a month, man. I was just like, because it was just like, okay, after you did whatever, and after, you know, the new car smell is gone, it's like we have absolutely no fucking thing in common. And you both know I'm a music guy, so you know what I mean. She starts playing this music, and I'm listening to this shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you playing? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? You know, and
Uzi Vert and Lil Tay
Tay.
And it's just, I'm just sitting there. I'm in the car. I'm just like, let me get the fuck out of here, man. Like, you know what I mean?
No Little Nas X for you. No.
And she wants me to come out with her friends so they could go out and do whatever 20-something-year-olds do these days.
They want you to pay.
Like, that's exactly probably what it is.
They want you to sit back and buy the bottles.
And I was just like, nah, I'm good, baby. I ain't doing all that. I think this is where we get off.
AD said, Jen, women hit the wall at 35. Let me tell you something, sir. Men who aren't wealthy stay at a wall. Y'all live at a wall, like forever. You're literally at a wall forever if you're not wealthy.
If you're 35 and you ain't got a little bit of bread, dude, your life is sad.
Like, real sad.
There's so much emphasis on women hitting this wall, this imaginary wall, but these men don't understand that they don't have access to those women or quality women because you're at a wall. If you're a man, you're an average man, you're not wealthy, you're at a wall. Do you understand that? You're literally at a wall. You can't even get the average dime who has a corporate job downtown Manhattan. You are at a wall, sir. You exist at a wall. So I wouldn't be worried about women hitting the wall. I'd be worried about getting your funds up so you can.
If you ain't making a certain amount of money I would say, if you 30, a 30-year-old man or a 35-year-old man, if you're not making at least 80 grand a year as a 30, 35-year-old man, you got some problems.
It depends on where you're living, though, too. If you're talking about California, New York, you think you got that New York on your mind. You're in a New York state of mind.
Okay, then maybe that's what it is. You know what I mean?
You're in a New York state of mind. Somebody in
It's
in
hard to get out of
Montana.
that condition. It's hard to get out of that conditioning.
55,000 in Montana is like 80,000 in New York, you know?
Well,
Listen, my friend sent me that Arizona iced tea is no longer 99 cents. It's 125. And I was like, damn, what are they doing to us in New York? What are y'all doing?
shit, milk like $5 out here, man.
It's terrible.
Oh man,
it's funny because like my cousin, he just got divorced. You know him, TJ, and
how long has he been divorced for?
Shit. I think it's still working its way the process, but they've been separated for like a year and a half or something like that.
We should have came up and talked about that. I gotta have a divorce topic. Good.
See, and and he's making a shit ton of bread. Like he's making good. But the difference is he's got that single man. I got a one grown kid kind of bread where you don't have to pay for school. You don't have to pay for this, that, and the other. There's no, you only pay for yourself. So it's just like he's got all the money to like take the trips and do all the stuff. He just turned 51, so he just now. It's all about like fancy cars and trips with him now and stuff like that. But like I'm like we make around this, huh? Nah, he was, but he's in New Mexico. That's where he works for Virgin Galactic. He's the director of safety and maintenance for Virgin Galactic, and he makes a shit ton of money.
That's on my checklist. So I'm gonna hit him up so he could take me on a date, see what happens. Got a shit ton of money. He likes taking trips. He's tall, right?
6'4".
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay. We ain't short in our family. No, I'm just kidding.
We're short except on my father's side.
I'm just kidding. But dog, I shouldn't have said nothing. Because I love his ex-wife so much. And she was like, oh, nigga, you was on that show talking about all the shit he got.
What happened? I'm sorry.
I said I shouldn't open my mouth because I love his ex-wife a lot. She's my dog. And it's just like, but she gonna call me up like, oh, I heard you on the little show talking all that shit about how much TJ got. And now
but they still get along, right? They still get along.
No, they don't.
Oh no. Well, we'll talk about it on our date when I tell him.
There you go. What you call it? But yeah, it's just like one of those situations. It's different for like a single cat when you got bread and stuff like that. Like these, if he wanted to really do that, these young cats couldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole as far as like really what he could do and how he'd be snatching chicks from under their arms left and right if he was really trying to be like that. Because when it comes down to
that's why my ex Ed, he didn't have children or anything. So when people are like, oh, why was he, giving that money? He didn't have no kids. He didn't have no responsibilities. He didn't have so his money was his money, and NYPD, lieutenant makes some good money. You know what I'm saying? When you don't have those responsibilities, it's easy peasy, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
man, if I had the money I'm making now when I was like 20 years old,
you'd be broke. You'd be broke because you'd be like, if I have with the money I have now, when I was 20, I'd probably be in like some kind of sanitarium or something like that because I would have done it. Probably every drug under the planet. I would have bumpity bumps all over my body, would have smashed every chick. That
I would be sitting next
everywhere.
I'd be sitting next to that lawyer with the $300,000 a year seat at the basketball game.
So it's best that men make money later. And I heard
it is. You know why? You know why it's best that men get power later on in their lives. You know what I mean? A lot of times when I see like a lot of these young guys in their 20s and they become millionaires and they make all of these just wild decisions and they crash up their cars or whatever, I don't judge them because I know that if I was in my 20s and I was worth $40 million, I tell people all the time, I'd be dead in 3 months. Like seriously, man, I'd have lived my life full
perfect
throttle.
Example is like you see these like YouTubers. YouTubers are the new gold rush. It's just like the young ones who have like the 6 million, 8 million followers who making like $200,000 a month doing this shit. I mean, their lives is just a comic. It's just a comic book. It's just whatever stupid thing they come on. It's like they can do. Like, oh, I want to be a boxer this month. Oh,
listen, a lot of them are dying. Did you know
yeah,
that? A lot of the
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
like
because you can't give that kind of power to a child, man. You can't give that kind of power to a child because they have no discernment. They haven't a developed brain yet. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You could have
yeah.
gave me that shit. Not in the 90s. You got your fucking mind.
No. I mean, seriously.
No way, man.
Atheist said Sneeko is a millionaire. He has become a high value man. Great for someone so young. Well, good luck to him, because that type of money at that age means sex, drugs, and rock and roll, fast cars, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of them check out. Them kids are checking out. They're overdosing. They're in car accidents. They're getting jailed. They're getting in trouble. Sexual assault. Like it's getting wild.
And when the money stop, they have no discernible skills, no skills that can transfer into real life. They have nothing.
Yeah.
And then they get more desperate to like maintain it.
You know, I think if you're fortunate enough to jump into even some of these Ponzi scheme cryptocurrency coins, and you're fortunate enough to make a lot of money really quick, you think that you can do it again, or that it's easy. It's too easy, especially the some of the cryptocurrency that people hit on. That was too easy because it wasn't, you know, and then like you're saying, if they lose it, then suddenly they don't really, you know, they don't know that it's not really that easy to make that kind of money. Or like athletes in the past and in the present too, where they make all this money, and then all of a sudden, you know, 5 years after they're out of the league or out of the, you know, NFL or whatever, they're broke because they never knew how to manage it.
But they have a discernible skill. They can be a coach somewhere. They can do they can go and like do appearances and stuff because
some get into broadcasting, but most.
That's true. That's true.
Don't.
Like they can always be a coach at a high school. If you say you're an NFL player, you can go to a high school in Wichita Falls, Texas, and be a football coach. Like, but the thing, but you're 100% right. It's just like cats will sit there and be like, okay, I'm 28. I made money off of crypto, and crypto was like because nobody understood it, so it was just easy. It was just like the easy to just people just throwing money left and right at them. It's just like, but now. The scam of it is coming to light, and people are like scrambling to try to maintain and trying to because they're losing their money.
Atheist says Sneeko is being mentored by the Tate brothers. Okay, so he's headed for disaster. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, he does regurgitate a lot of stuff that Andrew Tate stuff.
I mean, he's headed for disaster. Did you see I'm gonna send it to you, Damien, the video of the lawyer breaking down like all the charges of Andrew Tate, and the video he showed of him talking about pimping women. But Andrew Tate was talking about pimping women and how to pimp women and how to get them to stay with you and how to live off of them. He's basically pussy parasite.
Dry snitching on himself. He just dry snitching on himself.
Bad. I'm talking about just. But I noticed that.
You know what? I could tell. I remember one time I watched a Fresh and Fish episode, and he was talking about it was this chick. Oh, I watched it. I ain't gonna front. I can watch it because it was the chick who said she blew 7 Phoenix Sun players. She was on it. It just happened, and I was like watching it, and he was so hard, just like trying to get her to hoe. He was like, yeah, you know, we put you on the right yacht in Dubai. You can make $100,000 in a weekend. And she was like, I'm not trying to do it. He was like, you know, you can have this connection. She was like, I'm not trying to be a hoe. She was like, I'm not trying to be a prostitute. And he was just pushing the issue of I could get you connected to the right people and put you on the right boat in Dubai, and we can make a lot of money.
You have to see the video. I'm gonna send it to you. The way he breaks down, the way he pimps women, how he gets them to stay. He even talks about the women that left, like the ones that he tried to convince to stay, and then some of them left, told him fuck you. He's literally a pussy parasite. Like he's made a lot of money pimping women via webcams and things like that. But he says it like he says everything. He even talks about not paying taxes and how to get out of paying tax. Like
that's brilliant.
Like he's
bring that, get that light shined on you. You'll find out real quick.
I notice it's a pattern of YouTubers that a lot of people get on here and think they're having private conversations, like private Zoom meetings. They don't realize everybody is watching. everybody is watching. And this idiot sits up there and talks about how he doesn't pay taxes and how he manipulates the women and how he lies to them to get them there, and how he's pimping them to different people, and how men, when they call into the web service, they think they're talking to women, but they're really talking to him and other men because those women aren't really doing the job. Like, I'm talking about, I've never seen someone snitch on themselves that bad.
You know, it's really, it's really crazy to see. To each their own. But this guy atheist, he just really seems to be deifying this Andrew Tate. First of all, Andrew Tate is he's a bundle of insecurity. You can see it, because anyone who sits there, and if you sit there and you tell me a whole bunch of shit that I never asked you, you like hearing yourself talk. I didn't ask you what you do with your money. I really don't care. But I've seen him in conversations and go into certain sections of his life, and I'm like, wow, the person didn't even ask him like that shit. He just felt compelled, because he's one of those dudes where, as long as you let them talk, he's going to tell on himself. Because he has to talk.
There's that smug. He does have that smug narcissism about him. Yeah. Absolutely. The thing is, but
video with the attorney.
Which one? Nah. Show the video. Show the video. All right, send it to me.
It was mind blowing how much Andrew Tate said that his illegal activities. I can't believe that he just divulged it, but he was saying it like, yeah, like he was untouchable, like very, very pompous and obnoxious. And this is how you don't pay taxes, and then you give them fake contracts. Like, he was literally saying all the illegal shit that he does.
Well, you know what happens is, and this happens a lot. I only can relate to like the American mafia, like the Romanian mob. A lot of the stuff he's doing is for the Romanian mob. That's what some of the things where he was laundering money for them through his sex phone line.
That cam girl shit he be doing.
So a lot of times they do have paid off judges and lawyers and cops and stuff like that. So you do have this air of untouchability. But when that money stops, or the people that had the influence get caught or get killed, you lose that influence. Or if you put it too much into people's face, like he was doing, like he's saying, you know what, I get away with this, but like, dude, you just gonna just say it in front of us? Like, I was watching this. There was this documentary on BMF, the Black Mafia family, where them cats was so arrogant. Big Meech was so arrogant. He bought a billboard right next to the police station that said, "The world is BMF's," like to kind of shit on the police. I'm like, okay, the world is yours, so we're gonna show you how much you do. If you doing it, if you move in silence, then you can do whatever. I learned a long time ago, you can get way more by shutting the fuck up than you ever can by talking.
But the same thing happened to Kanye. If you notice, the same thing happened to Kanye. The same is same type of arrogance. There's always people watching that are more powerful than you. And you make the block hot. You're like, this motherfucker.
Kanye had a disadvantage though. He's mentally unstable, so he's got a disadvantage because in his mind, what Kanye was doing, he was thinking he was, and I didn't make this. I think it was Andrew Schultz who said this. He thought he was remixing thought because he's remixed songs. He thought he was going to remix the way people think.
That's funny.
And it didn't work out for him. He was like, people shouldn't link like that. People should think like this.
Tate is off? You don't think Andrew Tate is off?
No. I think
he's incredibly intelligent. I think he's an
intelligent guy.
Off though. You could be intelligent and be off.
I don't think he's off. I don't think he's off because you know why? He's very measured and he's very aware of his surroundings, what he does, what he says, as far as like stuff that people can prove. I can say all the stuff I want on the planet, but it's what you can prove. Like I could say, I got $50 million in the bank, but it's what you can prove. And that's where he's really measured. He didn't, that's why I'm interested in seeing the tape of how he kind of laid it out.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you. I think you're gonna be
okay.
how much he said.
Because he's really he measured, and he's not a dumb dude. Because some of the things he say, like I'll even admit, some of the things he said ring 100% true with me. Like he was telling a story about like him and his girl at the time were waiting in line for like some fish and chips at like 2 a.m. And he was like, it was a long line. He's like, and this black Audi parked right beside him, and 3 big ass black dudes got out the car and cut everybody in line. And his girl was like, aren't you gonna say something to him? He was like, you better shut the fuck up, don't say shit. And then some other dude's girl started mouthing off to the dude, and they both got beat up. And I'm a strong believer in that. My wife understands that if there's a situation going on, if they don't come directly to us, stay the fuck out of it. You don't instigate shit. You don't say shit. If somebody, I can handle what I need to handle, but don't put me in situations to where we both gonna get fucked up. I mean, it's just like one of those situations. Right. I mean, he said every now and then he would say stuff that would like ring true with me. Like, yeah, I'm 100% feel like that. There's a lot of men.
Here's the thing. Kevin Samuels, to me, right, was entertaining. A lot of what Kevin said rang true with me too. Same thing with a lot of these cats, Andrew Tate. But I'm saying the way he's very smart, he's very intelligent, he's very manipulative, he's a fucking parasite. But the way he talks and moves doesn't seem completely normal to me, right? Yeah. Well, let's take another wealthy man. Let's say a Mark Cuban. Let's say a Bill Gates. Let's say a Bezos. Let's say a Elon Musk. Like they can sit in a room, talk about their riches, their wealth, their intelligence, even their manipulation. But they don't look off to me. Like Andrew Tate looks off, like he's on Ritalin, or it's like, are you okay?
Probably.
Let me tell you.
But they're not playing the character though.
What color should like I'm like, yo, wait.
That part.
Bezos isn't playing the character though. Bezos isn't playing the character. He doesn't have to play a character. Andrew Tate, to some degree, I've seen times when he's turned it off, and when the cameras are on, I've seen him like turn it up, crank it up. He pushes the extreme version of himself. Yeah. So that's where it's like, just to be fair, he does indulge in the character of Andrew Tate.
So that is what I'm looking at, because I'm like, men don't. There are a lot of wealthy men. He's not of course that manipulated to get some money. Like there are a lot of wealthy men, but I'm like, they don't act like that. Like I couldn't sit across from him and not be unnerved. Like I could not talk to someone who talks like that.
Right.
I have to fucking walk. I'd be like, I can't fucking do you. I can't do you. Like when
the cameras are off, Jen, I doubt if Andrew Tate is even half of that.
And those men don't bother me. Like a lot of women are bothered by those men. I am not. I find them entertaining. I like hearing what they gotta say. A lot of what they say, kind of like, the reason why I like it is because it co-signs a lot of the shit I think already. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I was thinking that. And I think that's how people are. And I think that's how humanity is. And I think that's how women operate. And I think that's how men operate. So I enjoy listening to them. Not like the average woman that cringes when Kevin Samuels is talking, because I see what he's doing. And I'm interested in what he's doing. Where most women are like, oh my God, he said I was fat. I'm like, well, I don't know. Are you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, there's always some nugget of truth in what they saying, though. You got to, if you listen to it, if you get past, if you can look past your own like disdain for women, if you're watching them, like for some cats, for cats who are watching them, if you look past your disdain for men, you might actually see something of value, except past you fat, or you like a linebacker or whatever like that. If a guy who does not hate women or have any kind of animosity toward women can listen to Kevin Samuels, be like, yeah, maybe both men and women should be back to reality when it comes to how they look and what they can actually attract and stuff like that. I rocks with that, but it's just when it gets to the point where it becomes like, childish back and forth and that how many attacks and and
this is the thing. I loathe the not the men, the fucking followers is the issue.
Yeah. Right. Because they don't understand it. They're moving off emotion.
They
It's
can't
the
Yeah,
same
that's
discern.
your right.
it's the same way I feel about the quote unquote beehive. Like, y'all are fucking stupid. Like, let's just watch this. You don't have to weaponize it against women. You don't have to weaponize it against men. You don't have to weaponize it against people that don't like Beyonce. Like, can we just watch this? Let's observe this and see what's in there. I also don't like when people act like they've never heard that fucking information before. Like, do you have a father? Do you have a mother? No grandma in the house? Because there's nothing Kevin hasn't said that I didn't hear from my father and better. Then nobody prepared me for life and game more than my own father. So when I
Same
hear
here.
Samuels or a Tate, I find them entertaining because they remind me of how hardcore, my father was. My father told it like it was, fuck your feelings, right? So I can see the entertainment in it. I can see the intrigue and the interest. But people, when they become adoptees of these men, it turns my stomach. It turns my
They
fucking stomach.
because they don't have the strength of conviction to really live that. They just kind of parroting stuff that they really don't understand or can't put it into context to make it of any kind of value. They just saying, "Oh my God," he said, this woman's a linebacker. Or women are fat. They say something, then they'll parrot that part as an insult or a justification for their dislike of women.
Or they're just
He won't
living
say he'll.
vicariously through the person. They're just
Yeah,
living vicariously through it.
they don't hear like, yeah, you're right. Maybe women and men are trying to punch out of their weight class. They're trying to get these people out of their weight class. Maybe they need to be, if they really want to be happy, they need to rock with people who rock with them instead of always trying to, like TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls, I think if you can get past, if you don't have like that visceral dislike of women, you can get to that part of it. But then if most people just be like, yeah, that's right, women ain't shit,
Yeah, I'm like, I people like, oh, but and Kevin Samuels, I'm like, he wasn't talking about me, so I don't, he wasn't talking about me. That's why I could listen to him. I don't listen to him and cringe. Like I don't have those problems that he was talking about women having. So I'm like, yeah, I could watch him. I don't get, and he's just a man with a YouTube channel. Y'all need to relax.
Well, I think that overall
He gonna
we're
get
not
these
taking.
jokes though. He gonna get these jokes though.
Yeah. Atheist,
I don't.
I don't know how. I would love for you to come up because you really just got online and called another man masculine and alpha.
Yeah, that's
You really just said.
I was gonna ask y'all, do you think that about Andrew Tate?
But how you gonna get online and just say that about another man?
I just think he's a criminal. That's it. That's all he is. That is the bottom line. He's a criminal.
That's
I
true
will
too.
tell you. I will tell you what I think of Andrew Tate. I think Andrew Tate is I think he's a smart guy. You know what I mean? He has some brilliant ideas in certain areas. In other areas, it's fucking hyperbole. It's like, come on, get the fuck out of here. There's certain things that he stated, like for example, he stated things that again should be common sense, such as life for men is player versus player. We should not indulge in the idea of having the same degree of sympathy in life that is shown to women and dogs and what I mean and children and so on and so forth or whatever. But to be that as it may, though, I think that what's happening here is that we don't understand one thing. There's a problem with critical thinking. You know, what I mean, what Damien was saying, and having a particular degree of discernment when listening to these people, that requires a degree of critical thinking, and you sharpen your critical thinking skills when you are able to strengthen one thing that most people have an issue with: reading comprehension. Okay, when people read information, they're basically processing information. You know what I mean? And a lot of people just have an issue processing information efficiently. You know what I mean? You see it on social media when people get into arguments and so on and so forth. They have a problem, what I mean, really understanding information. So when they hear guys like Andrew Tate or Kevin Samuels, they can only take things on a surface level. They can only take the shit that's really on a shallow level. The jokes against fat women, you know what I mean? You're trying to be a pussy parasite, all kinds of shit. just the surface level shit. That's the only shit that they can take, and then they run with it, and that becomes that person's brand.
Yeah, they can't separate the emotion out of it. They can't take the
No, they
emotion
can't.
out of it. That's what it
Let
is.
me.
It's
I'm
all
gonna
emotion.
push back on something. I'm gonna push back on
Okay.
something. Okay.
So,
First of all, thank you, Donovan, for the super chat. Donovan said Tate and Kevin Samuel followers will agree with them until they said men should pay for all the dates. Then his followers go deaf. I did see Andrew Tate saying something about what men should be, and I was like, I bet they ain't sharing that shit. I'm gonna push back a little bit. Here's why. First of all, you guys know I'm super, super fucking cynical. I'm super cynical. Ron, going back to what you said, what I've learned since the explosion of social media, specifically Facebook, the majority of people have no reading comprehension. Let's start there. Like none. They will read some shit you wrote.
Majority of Americans.
And you're like, what the fuck? The illiteracy rate in this country.
no, it's high. It's very high.
The status quo, the run-of-the-mill cattle. People are cattle. Any little thing leads them anywhere. You could use religion. You could use pop music. You could use hip hop. You could use gender wars. And you can get masses of people to line up and listen to everything you say, whether you're listening to Kevin Samuels or a minister or an Andrew Tate or a love coach, right? That is the majority. It's usually one person on a webcam and a million people following. So with that said, Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, ministers, preachers, are they really smart?
No.
Are the majority, or is the majority of humanity a bunch of dumb fucking cattle that can easily be led?
Yeah, you know, somebody once said this, like people like preachers, pimps, and hustlers, they aren't stupid. A lot of them are very intelligent. They're just perverted. They've perverted that intelligence to turn it into something else. It was like, so they perverted it for not to build, but to like consume. You know, that's what they perverted their intelligence for. They perverted that potential, I should say, for intelligence or for really creating something to consume, you know, as opposed to what resources can I extract from the world and what can I build, you know, because I know like some of the cats I've been around and some of the rooms I've been in, these cats will have some real deep conversations. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker really like talking that shit. And then we'll talk some dumb, some pimp ho shit or talk some like funny style shit on the back end. I was actually on a podcast where I asked this dude a question. Like he was talking like all this weird, like, you know, pimping women and, you know, and this kind of shit. And then I said something, I was like, and he said something really intelligent. And I was like, dude, you just said something like mad intelligent. I was like, do you think that you kind of like take away from people listening to that part when you talk that other shit? And then he got all offended. He was like, dude, if you're just saying, if that's what you feel I'm doing, why don't you just say it? And I'm just like, and he caught me on my game. He was like, dude, what you think? You're thinking that you just didn't want to say it. You wanted me to come to the conclusion. But and I was like, dude, if you smart enough to get that out of it, you smart enough to know if this is an act for these streets, for the YouTube streets, rock with it. But if you really are this dude, you are wasting potential. And that's what I think a lot of these perverted like hustlers and pimps and Andrew Tates and what you call it, they well, Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate, they're making money off of it, so they're not. But they're wasting potential to really build something and create something significant. It's just, what can I build for myself? What resources can I get? And I think that is the perversion of intelligence that I think they have, as opposed to like lack of it.
No, you're right. Because I could do that too. Like I can grift tomorrow.
There is such a thing as an evil genius. I mean, there is such a thing. I mean, the person is still incredibly intelligent. They're just using it for evil. Doesn't mean that they're not intelligent. And it just
like
also
a person preaching and the average person that can read and write and comprehend English. If you're preaching to a special ed class, you're going to be the leader there. Right? You're going to be the leader in the special ed class.
You said, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point.
Why do people keep saying a war against men? What is this?
I don't know what atheists is talking about. What war against men? I don't understand. He said that feminists are targeting Andrew Tate because he took over for Kevin Samuels. Here's the thing. I'm not a feminist, right? I'm not a feminist, but I think it's disgusting. It's disgusting that a man is living off of a woman's pussy. But I'm not a feminist. I don't have to be a feminist to think that. It's just my view of men is supposed to be protector, provider. So when I see a man living off a woman's pussy, like Andrew Tate admitted repeatedly out of his own mouth and how he does it, right? I'm just thinking you a poo putt to me. I don't have to be a feminist to think it's cringe that a man's pimping women and living off of a woman's pussy.
Is this a war? Is this a war against men, or is this a war against white men? Because it was a war against black men for a whole bunch of decades, and nobody said shit. So is this really about a war against white men, or is this a war against men now? Is this are we all in this together now? Is this
it's a war against men who can't produce. That's basically what it is. Because Haran doesn't have this problem. Dame doesn't have this problem. No Saint doesn't have this problem. I don't have this problem. I see it's the people who play Warcraft all night long. That's what I see. I understand what the problem is. It's annoying now. It's been right. These people could have been better off in jail as much time as they wasted complaining about women. I'm sorry. It's been 4 years? I blame COVID. If we didn't have to sit down and listen to this nonsense, we'd be better off. Like I don't understand how. Like if you sit there and say, "Hey, I have no toilet paper," and I blame Jen for not having toilet paper, it's a problem. That's what it is now.
I don't know about that, man. That might be that look Stephen A. Smith is giving. That's what I'm giving you right now. Like
you want a bet? You okay, right? Jen said no coffee dates, and then people ran with that for a whole summer. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't know Twitch existed.
Nothing.
Until I said the coffee thing, and then I heard, you on Twitch? Everybody's talking about you on Twitch. I said, what?
That shit annoyed the fuck out of me. She went on other panels. They started talking about it. They was asking her shit on other shows. It was like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like, why is this? I was just, why is this an issue, man? Like,
and then, right? Jen will be on the panel with all women. She's talking about how it's just blacks versus Latinas, and all of a sudden, there's an issue with a woman will sit there and say, well, a man will whisper into another woman's ear to manipulate something. Will sit there and say what Jen does, blah 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 about men, blah blah blah, so they can trigger Jen to get some type of clip to sit there and say, oh, black men choose me over blah blah blah, and Jen's like, no, everybody's a piece of shit altogether. And they don't get that, but it's Jen like it was a whole conversation about nothing, but it comes down to what Jen said about what's the guy's name? Who's the scammer? Who's that scammer? The black one.
Which one?
The one with the museum.
Umar Johnson?
No.
His counterpart. Yeah. Tariq Nasheed. Like people will bring that up. I'm like, this Jim was just talking about child support. Where the fuck did Tariq Nasheed come from? This is where we're at.
That was close.
I'm like, we're in the land of the retard. I swear to God. This is what it is.
I want to special ed class. YouTube. Really quickly. No, saying atheist. Are you white or black? I'm curious. Now you done threw in 55 chats during this stream, so don't clam up now. Are you white or black?
See, he said Kevin Samuels saved a lot of marriages. How are you saving marriages on YouTube? Please explain.
What did I say about the followers? This is what I'm talking about, the followers.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. People in prison are more productive than this. Like people in prison are actually getting degrees.
Atheist said he's black.
Yeah, because I don't know very many white people that watch Kevin Samuels.
Well, he said
Which girl?
it's a war on men, a war against men, and then Haran said on white men. So I was just wondering if atheists is
How can you have a war on somebody that can literally beat a woman's like? Ain't no woman really gonna step to Haran physically.
Well, we're not talking about fighting. We're just talking about we're
Look,
talking
look,
about for a position in society. That's what they're talking
what
about, not
what
necessarily physically fighting.
if you don't have the adequate skills, you don't get the job.
Yeah, I mean, like
It's that
realistically,
simple of an equation.
Is there a war
I feel like
against you guys on the panel? Is there a war against y'all?
I don't know
Are you
about
at
it.
risk
I
of
don't know.
losing your
No,
livelihood?
no. There's a war
No.
against single people by the IRS.
Is a
Yeah,
woman gonna get your job?
that I'll give you.
Is a woman gonna get
Well,
your job? The women that you have, are you at risk of a woman taking your job or your woman or anything? I'm trying to
Well,
understand
not
this war against men.
and if she did, if a woman took my job, it wouldn't be because she was a woman. It'd be because she
right.
was better at it or whatever. You know, that I
More
don't buy.
educated
It's
or
like
something.
j-
Yeah.
just on the transversely, you know, the same way I don't believe that, you know, women, that there's a pay gap preventing women from making exactly what I make. So it's just like there's nothing preventing you from making exactly what I make. So just like you can take my job if you are better at it. That's just the way it is.
Exactly. Listen, I bring the competition. I prefer more people at my job, so you know when I leave, I was better than you. Nothing you can do can take my job. I'm better than you in every way. That's how I approach life. Like I don't understand war against masculinity. What do you mean? If a woman sister says, "Hey, what you say offends me," please don't say it. It's that simple of a concept. It's not
Shout
difficult.
out to the
So,
Warcraft players. Shout out to the Warcraft players. How y'all doing, fellas?
um,
Doing?
no, what I was
See,
gonna
see,
say, what I
how is
wanted,
that extreme though? How is that extreme? How is that extreme?
You're hurting feelings, Tristan.
What were you gonna say,
so
no saint?
basically what I was gonna say, I don't want to. Hopefully, we haven't gone past the point when we were talking about people like people preachers, you know, of large religions, or Kevin Samuels. You know, people call him the Godfather, which is really bizarre to me. Um, is and I see a lot of it. People looking for knowledge that they don't have. I think it comes down to a lot of people are lazy and they want to be told what to do, and they want to be told and be things put in a package that's palatable to them, and they don't want to do the research behind it. Like, you know, when a preacher's talking to you and telling you what the Bible says, oh, that's what the Bible says. When in reality, you could go into the Bible and find out a lot of, you know, oh, the Bible's all about love. Well, not really.
I think that
a
a lot of people
there's a
just
lot of
want
killing in
somebody
it.
to help them with comprehension, how to comprehend the shit that they're taking in. A lot of people have comprehension issues. Like, for example, and
Well,
the
and I'm
Bible was
saying that
perfect
it
example
even
of that. Yeah.
it even I'm not just take it away from the Bible, and even with Kevin Samuels, they want to be real. You know, I've never full disclosure, I've seen a few clips on it. I wasn't ever one to watch. I'm just going from what you guys are saying here. It sounds like a lot of people were following him. They were just looking for answers to why they are not successful in relationships. That's what it sounds like to me. But like I said, I don't really have
100%. 100%.
It's not, again,
You're
it's
right. You're
not
spot on.
again, it's not the players so much as it is the minions and the followers. Because notice here today,
right.
atheist, Kevin Samuels is dead. Atheist said Andrew Tate took over for Kevin Samuels. They're constantly looking, they're pining for this leader. They're like, who's next? They weren't like, oh, Kevin is dead. Let me just, you know what I mean, take what Kevin said and let me rewatch his shit. No, who's next? He just said Andrew Tate took over for Kevin Samuels,
Yeah.
and that's why Andrew Tate is getting attacked. And then after Andrew Tate gets his ass thrown in a cell, someone else is going to come after Andrew Tate. Kanye West, for instance, when he was saying everything he was saying, a lot of shit Kanye was saying was true, but I was dumbfounded how many people were like, did you see he's trying to school us and wake us up? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? People have been talking about the Jewish people on media for literally fucking centuries. for fucking decades. Kanye's not the first person who said this. Everybody's been saying this. Forget how many celebrities have done the Jewish people. But the way they reacted to Kanye, like he was the answer, they was ready to start calling him the con father.
Yeah, mind you, this is a man
Yeah,
who openly said, "I don't read."
Yeah, and I don't think. First of all, some of these people, like this Tate guy, and to me, like you said, it's the followers that need to be shamed because all they're doing is making money, and they're smart enough to manipulate people. That's why I say a lot of these people, they're not dumb. They know how to package things and sell it to people. It takes a skill. Not everybody can do it. If everybody could do it, they wouldn't be at the top of whatever they're doing. But you're right. Someone's going to take that person's place. Now, you opened up something with the Kanye thing, because you're right. That has been something that people have been saying for centuries, and that's why it's so wrong. Because people have used that to do much worse things later on down the line. What I'm saying, not Kanye necessarily, but people have sold that to where you rile up people to well, we know not just the Holocaust either. It's happened throughout the centuries where Jewish people.
He's ready to be the follower of the next person. He said Sneeko will take over. He is the next in line. We have a godmother. Hold on, Tristan. We have a godmother and just pearly things. Now there's a black man saying, right. But here's the thing. It's a great example. And it's like we could do a whole topic about it one day. But it really is. This is, I said before that people stop going to church, right? Because let's face it, motherfuckers aren't as religious as they claim. They stop going to church, and their new church is YouTube. And these guys, the Tates, the Samuels, the pearly things, these are the new preachers and ministers for these people. And that's how they react to these people. There's like the Godfather, I have to tune into this. And, it's the same dynamic of church. It's the same exact dynamic of church. I am waking you up. I am leading you to the light. And we saw it with Kanye when people just ran to, oh my God, like he's trying to free us. Kanye's trying to wake us up. Like people were literally parrying that online. So it's like they're all bent over. You don't want to fuck them and figure out what stroke you're going to use. But you can get rich with people like atheists on the planet. That's the truth. Now, what I just said is the absolute fucking truth, but no one's going to care because I'm not Andrew Tate and I'm not saying it really fast. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. A lot of people are already bent over wanting you to fuck them. You just got to figure out what stroke you're going to use. Kevin Samuels figured out his stroke. Just Pearly figured out his stroke. Andrew Tate figured out his stroke. Sneeko, and then here's the thing. Sneeko is a 19-year-old kid or something. Atheist, I guarantee, is in his 30s or 40s. And he's already ready for a 19-year-old to take over. Do you see the science?
People forget Sneeko is going through a phase. He's gonna grow out of it, and y'all still gonna be stuck on. There's a war against men. What war? Like you can't. Okay, if there's a war, what's the prize if we win?
This is amazing to me. Like
I can't see myself as a 48-year-old man, like. Really jumping. I can't see myself as a 48-year-old man really jumping on what any 24-year-old got to say. I just can't see it. He doesn't have the life experience. He hasn't finished his breakfast.
That's it.
To tell me anything.
That's what I'm saying. If you are following, I was gonna say, if you are following
23, whatever.
He's mixed.
He's mixed.
Sneeko's mixed.
If you are following a 19-year-old, then you really. I can't imagine that. Like, there's nothing that a 19-year-old. I mean, I can't say there's nothing. There's something you can learn something from anybody, but not life lessons like they're saying this guy's saying. I mean, he doesn't have any kind of reference to life.
Is that him?
Yep. I said, mind you, he loses countless debates because he's defending a human trafficker and a rapist in Andrew Tate. I said, like I've never seen somebody.
I will pick anybody. Y'all will pick anybody.
He's lost in the sauce, Sneeko. I'm like this. I've never seen it. Like this kid will sit there and say I was a Democrat, right? Because it wasn't popping. Now he's red pill. I said, and he's defending Andrew Tate. And then he will sit there and say, "Oh, these allegations are false." This man's been arrested twice for it. When there's smoke, there's fire. At this point, with Andrew Tate, I said, oh my, the issue is it's annoying because I'm like, you're giving this kid clout. That's what he is. He's a clout chaser. That's the perfect term, right? Because it wasn't working out with being Democratic, he's following Nick Fuentes around, a whole white supremacist.
And there's a common trope that cult leaders and scammers and grifters use when shit starts getting too hot and the law starts coming down on this stuff start coming up. They use this same line. They're trying to keep me from giving the word to you, giving you the truth.
Yes.
It's all that. It's always they don't like me giving you the truth, so they're trying to bring me down. Yeah, you see me in there. Yes, it's the picture of me in the hotel room with the 4 underage hookers, but they staged that wasn't my penis. That was a stunt penis. You know, it's always they're trying to keep me from giving you the truth. And it's just that's what they all use. Jim Jones used it when he took his followers down to Ghana and had them drink Kool-Aid. Donald Trump is using it now for all the investigations and indictments that are coming his way. These red pill cats use it for when they get their shit blown up. It's just the common and people bite and on that shit so tough and be like, oh, you're right. The truth is they're trying to keep us from the truth. They're trying to keep us from being enlightened. When it is what it is. Like these.
They said the same thing about Kanye. They trying to shut him up now. Now they trying to shut him up.
That one, no. Yeah, that's
you realize Kanye disappeared, right?
No, that's the thing. That, like the whole and you'll see like our friends, the Hebrew Israelites, they just don't want Kanye because he's letting the black people know they're the real Jews. Like white people don't want that information. I said most white people don't even know about the Hebrew Israelites. You know, oh well, the people in power,
and they don't care.
You know, no.
And Sneeko just called another man handsome. Called another man good looking. I mean, atheist just called another man good looking.
Okay, look.
Why do these guys all look like weirdos? Like, why do they all look weird? Like, why they got all these misshapen heads? They got these weird lining of their eyes.
Who are you talking about? Me?
All these. No. I'm talking about all these red pill dudes and like, dang, you don't notice it? Like all these dudes just like look weird, like the fresh and fit dudes. All these motherfuckers, man, they just look weird.
This reminds me of my professor. It was a history class, and she told me straight up. She says the issue with society, especially in this country, is leaders. Everybody looking for a leader when you don't need one. I said everybody can think for themselves, but they choose not to. I says it always has been survival of the fittest. If you're not going to put the work in, we wish you well. And but everybody wants to bring everybody along. Like, oh no, we have to include everybody. She told me straight up. She says everybody's opinion don't matter. That's what she said in
bred
class.
into us at birth. It is bred in us to us at birth to follow. That's the way it is. Hence. People structure their whole existence around the Bible. It is bred in us to believe in things that we cannot prove, that have no real foundation in logic, and what our body biologically is telling us is wrong. It's bred in us that it don't matter. None of that matters. You have to believe in something outside of what your mind and body is telling you, because and you know why? The reason why is because I do. You have to believe it, and I can't be wrong. I can't have not structured my whole life around some bullshit. So now you have to believe it and structure your whole life around some bullshit. That's the way it's.
I think as a in general, I mean, there's a reason that there's people that are alphas and not everybody's an alpha, because that's the person that most people are looking for someone to lead them, like you're saying. It's inbred in some of us. Some people are leaders, and and they normally are. So I agree with you as far as like, we are born, and I think most people are born looking to follow, and then some aren't.
I think that's the
As long as
oxymoron of the
girls,
human condition. One second, Jen. I think that's the oxymoron of the human condition because I don't think we would have been here without two intangible concepts. It's hope and faith. Because if you think about it, I mean, there was a time when man was literally at the mercy of the elements. We should have died off. But I think that due to hope and faith and believing in things that we couldn't touch or believe in, they gave us some sort of inner strength that we were able to use and we were able to exert, and we're here now. If we were too logical, I don't think we would have survived.
I'm curious. What and I don't want to just go on this tangent. What do you think fuels? What fuels what? Does faith fuel will, or does will fuel faith? Because I think it's will. Like if I was going to be a Green Lantern, it would be will all day.
That's a very good question. That's a very philosophical question. That's a very philosophical question.
Because I think it's man's will has, but faith. I think there's faith too. I think faith is.
But don't you have?
I was watching that the Sandman show.
To have faith in yourself.
What,
to have
do
strong
you?
will, shouldn't you have faith in yourself? Shouldn't you have faith in yourself to have strong?
Yeah,
will,
but that's different. If it's I don't know. I'm thinking faith and it's something external from outside of yourself, extrinsic. Like, do you need faith in something outside of yourself to have will?
That's a very interesting question.
I think it's will too, because I think will comes before anything. The will to survive before you even learn about faith.
Yeah.
You have a will to I need to eat.
You're born with will. Yeah.
You're right. I need to.
You develop faith.
That instinct to survive. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think faith is more about instinct. Like you feel something, you're like, okay, I'm gonna pull through. Compared to will, it's like this. I'm not dying today. That's what's gonna go down. I'm not dying. I'm like I'm gonna defy God tonight. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. That's what I'm gonna do.
Not today, Def. Not today.
Would you say the more will you have, the less faith you can have?
I think I think they work in tandem. I think they work in tandem.
You know what? I'd have to think about that because
the more will you have, faith you have to have.
Because will comes from will comes from inside of you. I think faith is something you have and something outside of you. That's why it's so hard for me to have faith in something like the Bible and God and stuff like that. It's because it's so outside of me. My will comes from inside me, of the stuff that the shit I've had to develop over my life.
I mean, it's simple. If someone offered you only one of those two for the rest of your life, you're not going to pick faith.
Yeah.
If someone said you can only have one, will or faith, you're going to be like, give me that type of will. I need that will. This has been an amazing conversation. I was just going to say earlier, Ron, that I'm just I pulled up that guy's name, the Sneeko guy, and just the toxicity of what I'm scrolling and seeing this man's picture on is fucking horrendous. Okay? Horrendous.
I want atheists to understand what a loser looks like, and that's Sneeko. Okay, I need you to understand what a loser is. That's what that. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're not a loser.
Look at his face. I could just look at his face and know what the dialogue is gonna be. That's how predictable these guys are. It's gross. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna close, but really quickly, I wanted to speak on the whole faith and religious thing. Maxwell, the singer, I noticed, I follow him on Instagram. He posted a picture of an astronaut. It's an old ass fucking meme, and it's an astronaut holding a sign that says, "I don't see God up here." They tore him up in the comments. We have to get into that another day. We have to get into that on another, to the point where he took it down. And it's funny because I had commented on a picture. I was like, let me find out you're an atheist. Welcome, brethren. Right? That was my response. But they tore his ass up. Like his demographic of fans was like, how dare you take this down? And God is everywhere. But he took it down. First, he changed the caption, and then he took the whole thing down. And I was like, they done scared him off. But I want to talk about that another day.
God is everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
Everywhere, no fucking where.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, guys. So
Got,
thank you for. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna make a joke on back of no sayings because he was just like, it's either God's plan or free will. Which one is it?
Right. Right.
If it seriously,
Ha! Free will is God's plan. Ah.
there you go. Except if your will goes against his plan, then you're screwed.
What's up, the Clue Channel? No wonder Atheist is like he made his debut on Fresh and Fit. I'm not surprised.
No, he didn't. It was on Twitch, like every other young ass kid. He just happened to be on Red Pill, and let me just do this clout. Just call it a clout move. That's all.
Someone else says he used to do sidewalk interviews, but then he switched to Red Pill because that's where the bag is at, and that's where the bag is. That's where the bag is.
I'm not mad at a hustler.
Me neither.
I am
not at all.
Their followers. Oh my
Like,
god!
why can't atheists? You're getting scammed, man. Just put in the work. You know what, atheists, please
let him do it. Let him do his thing. We all need him because we need to scam somebody someday, and we need the atheists out of the world out there. I may lose everything I got, and I got to go back to scamming.
Be quiet, Tristan. I may have
don't learn them.
Shit.
Yeah, don't learn them.
Hey, if I get tired of this, I'm a grip and say black men ain't shit. I mean, I'm sorry, black women ain't shit, and give me a bag too. Okay, so shh.
Somebody got to help manage that money too. So hey, hit me up.
Hey, we may have to grip. Everybody be quiet. Let Nico and Tate and Atheist, let them do what they do. All right? Good job. Damien, I sent you that the video already. It's at the Can I Get Some Podcast Instagram page. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Let's do Freaky Friday tomorrow. Let's do some Freaky Friday tomorrow. The rest of the cast will be back. Glenn will be back. Lily will be back. They are working, taking care of their business. And great, thankfully they got business to take care of. And we'll all be back tomorrow with some Freaky Friday. Let's talk about some pussy and dick and tits.
Hell yeah.
Tomorrow, right here, same bat channel. All right, guys. Good night. Tristan, dismiss this madness.
Okay, because we were talking about Andrew Tate and the red pill. I have a message for you men. Just put me on the big screen. I love you all. You might want to, there you go. Just take that off. Remember, fellas, never forget you're the reason for someone to smile, okay? Because you are a joke. All right? Always remember that. You are a fucking joke. You fucking dumbasses. That's it. That's all. Be blessed, everybody.
Where's Mr. Alan Opus?
Right.
There we go.
I'm sorry that they just got me. I don't know what. Maybe it was work because I'm tired of retard today. I'm sorry. I'm tired of it.
I love you all, class.
I love you all, class dismissed.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Oh my goodness, Tristan. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Don't forget YouTube's Bad Girl and your favorite Devil's Advocate, Jen from On the Block with Jen. Don't forget to reach me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and On the Block with Jen at Gmail. I see you tomorrow for some Freaky Friday. Let's talk about some freaky shit. Yeah. It's been a long first week of the new year. Let's unwind tomorrow. Bring your drinks, your smoke, and your virgin ears. So I corrupt them. What? Don Levon, you ain't gonna be here for Freaky Friday? You better be here. All right, guys. Good night.